in when I press go live to when it actually goes live on YouTube. But if you play it back, they should be able to see it from this point now. So if you are watching back, this is like the little quiet period where we wait for everybody to say you're live in the chat. And it always seems to be delayed on my phone as well. For some
I've got it up on the second screen. No, that's complete speak. Sorry.
Hopefully, are we live yet? Nobody's come through. Are we live? Are we not live?
Yeah, we're live. I can see ourselves.
Yeah, we're live.
Awesome. So I'm just literally getting the adverts through now. The whole delay is absolutely terrible. Skip ads. Yeah. We are live. Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday evening. Before we get going, just make sure you've clicked that like button. Obviously, if you click the like button, we know that we're doing the right type of stuff. Tonight, we have Carl, Eight-Legged Hunters, and Jeremy's Wild World on this evening to talk about, hopefully show off some of the true spiders, show you guys that just keep tarantulas, the world of true spiders and how absolutely amazing it is. And the versatility in the true spiders is just unbelievable, to say the least. We just say a quick hello. So, hi, Jacksons. Hey, Chaz. Hi, Greg. Hey, Jackie. Hi, Jackson. Hey, Moon. Hey, Jenny. Hi, Tarantula Exotic Friends. Hi, Carl. Hey, Love at First Bite. Axolotl Reptile Rescue and Advice. Hey, dude. Need to get you back on the live, actually. Not spoke to you for ages. Hi, Anton. Hey, Steve Spiders. Hey, Thomas. You all right, Susan? Hey, Danielle, which is Portsmouth Tarantulas. Hi, Alice. Hey, Phil. Hi, Susan. Hi, Diana. Hi, Rose Dan. I think I'm just going to say hello to everybody. I'm not going any further with that there. Trond has been a channel member for 1 month and says, hi, everyone. Cheers, Trond. Appreciate that, dude. Hey, Sophie. Hey, Thomas. Yeah, I think we'll just say a massive hello to everybody watching. Thank you for popping along this evening. Really, really appreciate your time. So you guys probably already know Jeremy, one from YouTube and two that he's already been on a couple of lives with myself in the past. So I think we'll introduce Carl first, if he turns his microphone back on.
So I was coughing.
Get the cough.
You heard that here. He turned his microphone off, did a big fat fart, and then turned it back off again. Derek, thank you so much. He's just put $20 on the chat. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate that. Reptile Innovations. Wow. That is awesome. Hey, Andy. But yeah, sorry, Carl, if you want to just tell people.
Yeah. No, to be fair, mate, I just sort of I enjoy arachnids. I used to be terrified of them, like I think most people are that I'd seem to meet. I kind of realised how, I don't know, truly awesome they are. So I keep and study two families specifically, the Cosidae and Sopracidae are the ones that I enjoy the most. But yeah, I've got some Turnidae and other stuff from what other people have sent me. So, but a lot of mine is study. So I breed for my own purpose, not for selling on or anything.
So for anybody in the chat and myself, what do you mean by study?
So basically, when I used to keep tarantulas. I always found them a little bit boring. I don't mean that offensively to anyone that likes tarantulas. I just found a lot of them to be, I don't know, they don't really chase down their prey. They're more sit and wait. And there's loads of true spiders that are proper. They will chase their prey down. They're exciting, really, really exciting, although they're short-lived. So for me, it was a case of trying to get over a phobia, and fascination just took over. But I don't just want to know about the spider. I want to know about everything. Why it's here, how it's evolved, why we've got the range today. A lot of that, mate, comes from having to have what I've got, sort of, building up the collection and studying them. But there's hardly any information out there about true spiders.
No, there's not.
If I can study two families, and there's two families that hopefully I can write a nice paper on, which will give people everything from care tips to breeding to strange behavioural patterns. So yeah, that's the whole idea about it, mate, and making it awareness as well. You know, I used to be terrified any spider and I'd scream, but now I've pretty much covered it.
Hey, Lewis, Wiley.
You all right? How are we all?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
Thank
Yourself?
you.
Good.
We're alive.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Just.
Cheers to that.
So I take it, Cole, you're just basically getting the true spiders that have got literally very little information on, recreating what they've got in their natural environments in your own home, and just watching and watching and watching.
Yeah.
Well, going back to that takedown of prey, tarantulas will sit there when they feel it on their web. They will come out and bite it and grab it.
Yeah.
But if you look at something like a red fang, it will sit over here. You drop your prey here, and it goes boom. And it's literally like a speeding bullet towards that dubia or that red run or whatever you've got there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Your heart just goes.
It's like watching a cheetah hunt down a gazelle. There's like sort of 30 seconds where they're both running around, and it's like, oh, it's got it. No, it's not. Yeah, it's got it. And then it grabs it, and it's like, fucking hell, excuse my French. Like, it is impressive, mate. We kind of, you know, I do. I'm not saying I don't like tarantulas. I do. They are, you know, some of them are bloody quick, but for the most part, they are. A lot of them are, you know, they're not designed for long bursts of speed, so a lot of them will sit there and just wait.
Do you sell any babies, or have you got Facebook groups? If you want to give that one a quick shout out.
Yeah, Eight-Legged Hunters. There's a group called Eight-Legged Hunters, and there's the page where kind of started off friends and families that don't like spiders, didn't want to see images, but there's other people that did. So I started the page, and then there's another group which is with Jenny Goslin. Shout out to Jenny.
Big shout out to Jenny.
True Spiders Enthusiasts, which is a really good group, which is solely true spiders, nothing else. I've messed up once or twice by posting the wrong image of a tarantula and then getting shouted at.
I'll tell you, if you whinge about tarantulas tonight, the comments, they will kill you.
No. I've got some. Admittedly, OTBs, because, you know, they're a bit tasty. So, but yeah, no, I haven't got many. Not compared to Hetrapoda. So.
Steve says a lot of true spiders also sit and wait, just like tarantulas.
No, they do. They do. I'm referring to some sort of genuses of like wolf. Like I've got quite a few. That's kind of my interest, because, you know, there's nothing. Carolinensis will hunt their prey. They're active.
Wolf and wandering spiders generally, isn't
it?
The wolf and wandering spiders will.
Exactly, yeah. They actively come out at night. Don't get me wrong. There's genuses of wolf which will make a trap. You know, they'll find a burrow, and there's genuses that will dig a burrow and actually make a trap door. So not all wolf spiders are, will chase down their. Well, don't get me wrong, they will if they see it, but not all of them will go out on the hunt. But yeah, there's a lot of them that will. And it's just incredible, mate. You give them a big space, watching them wander around and actually get a proper move on the go. It's impressive.
I think Susan says, what's different between tarantulas and true spiders? Generally speaking, Jeremy would probably be able to expand, is tarantulas have their fangs facing downwards and kind of strike this way, where trues, it's more angled, isn't it, that way? And I think, isn't there a few that actually are like centipedes that are sideways as well?
It's from an evolutionary standpoint as well, that tarantulas are more of an ancient family. So they've been around for millions of years, whereas araneomorphs, they've evolved fairly recently. There are fossils from millions of years ago, but in comparison to, say, like ancient megalomorphs, which was similar to tarantulas, they were like around hundreds of millions of years ago in comparison. So it's just from a split in the evolutionary tree, the difference really.
Having a quick look down the comments. Just so anybody is that's watching, there's always critics to every kind of common name that you give, and what have you. But on this channel, I like to say tarantulas, and true spiders, or anything that's not a tarantula. Just makes it dead easy for me anyway. I don't know about you guys.
I find it confusing. Depending,
I have been shot down a few times from calling certain trues a true, and they're like, "No, it's not. It's a megalomorph," and it's like, hold on, it's just a common name. I'm just grouping spiders together. That's all I'm doing. Hey, Osman. Hey, Nessa. Hey, Claire.
Work if you're like sort of working with snakes, but with spiders, I think it's always kind of a good idea to try and learn the scientific name. I know it's a bit tricky, but once you said it a few times, it does stick, and it makes it easier to categorize because there's so many different spiders that all have the same common name. And someone will say, "Oh, I've got a trapdoor," and it's like, "Well, what trapdoor?" And you look at it and it's like, "That's not a trapdoor spider." And it's like, "But it's built with trapdoor." So well, actually, that's
the word Marnie is sold as a trapdoor, even though it creates like a castle, and there isn't no trapdoor.
More funnel web, rather than a trapdoor. Yeah.
Yeah. But you go on like somewhere like TSS, and it is literally there as a trapdoor. And me foolishly, I bought it as a trapdoor, thinking, "Yeah, you're going to be a trapdoor." And this funnel appeared, and I thought, "What? That's not my spider. Where's my spider gone?" And then obviously I did a bit more research, and I think it was Jenny actually that said they actually built the castle, not a full proper trapdoor. I was like,
You get similar things with like Fufius as well. Fufius are commonly sold as golden trapdoors, but they're similar as the Demarcus, where they're funnel webs as well. So I've got 5 of them at the moment, and not one of them has made a trapdoor. They just make a tube around the tub, and
that's what the word Marnie is, though, isn't it? That's the Demarcus. Necessary scientific name. Avoid confusion. That is correct. The first year I was in the hobby, I just used complete common names all the way through, mainly because you go to a normal pet shop or reptile shop, and 9 times out of 10 they're labelled it with a scientific name, but then they've got this common name, and you think, well, that one spider's only got that one common name, so you say OBT. Or LP. I know LP is the initials, but we still commonly say LP. GBB. But I find the OBT, the LP, and the GBB with the tarantulas are the 3 ones that you tend to get away with saying their common names anywhere, and nobody ever corrects you. Any of the other spiders, you're told to say, "Oh, that's the common name. The correct name's this." You can
go into KBN, right, a scientific name, and watch the faces go.
KBN's a reptile shop in Coventry. If Kane's in there, but he's part owner, he's now programming. He does computer programming for a gaming company. If he's in there, he does know the scientific names. The rest of them, no, not a chance.
No, Kate's dad is just like, I don't know.
Kate's dad just sits there counting roaches all day. It's been 18 months since the last one in there.
I've been in there since I moved.
Chris in Zero Wheels donated a 1 month of channel membership, by the way, and that went over to Moon over Miami. Thank you, Chris. That's awesome, dude. He was looking pretty sharp on Sunday, though.
He was.
He even got new shoes.
Chris is on wheels. Normally looks like he's been pulled through a bush backwards, but on Sunday he had everything. He had everything going.
Chris is a sexy caveman.
Could one of the moderators please drop into chat 8-Legged Hunters Facebook group? That would be absolutely awesome. And just spend a quick second joining that one. If not, I'll add it onto Scott's Inverts Army Facebook group as well. So I'll share it in there, so you can pop over and see what the fuss is. Hey, Uncle Dave. It was awesome at Seas, mate. Absolutely awesome. So we've got to know a little bit about Carl and his background. A lot of you should know who Jeremy is by now, but we'll just tell him again. Who?
Yeah, I don't know who I am really, to be honest. I'm just here. I got an invite and I'm here. They got the wrong person. Yeah, so my name's Jeremy. I run the channel Jeremy's Wild World. I've been on YouTube inconsistently, to say the least, for the past 3 and a bit years now. Same with the hobby, started in 2019, and I was in a similar situation with you, Scott, where like I would say everything as a common name, but I was looking at these spiders, and I'm like, I don't even know how to pronounce half of these, and here I am now. Bedroom is practically a bug room with a bed in it, and I've got all kinds of species, hundreds of different species, primarily trying to work with the true spiders and other miscellaneous inverts at the moment. Unlike Carl, I don't have specific trues. It's just anything that takes my interest, I'll try to work with where possible. Got a lot of projects on the go at the moment. If you see behind me, this mesh enclosure should be used for phasmids, but it hasn't been used for phasmids for about a year and a bit. It's just been used to keep my slings in.
No, Jeremy, personally, right? And a lot of projects is an understatement.
It's like I realized, like, oh god, I put the list in a couple groups, and I was like, oh, that's just the trues.
Leah said you're a noob.
Thanks, Leah. But yeah, so I've got a lot of stuff paired up, a lot of stuff on the works, and the goal for me is to work with Carl and other people within the UK hobby to establish captive bred populations of true spiders. Because just for me, I feel like tarantulas have been captive bred for many, many years now, decades even, and they don't necessarily rely on wild caught, mainly for the newer species coming into the hobby. But whereas your hobby staples, your A-gens, LPs, your mostly brackies nowadays are practically all captive bred. I feel like we should have that with the true spiders rather than having sporadic imports and maybe a couple coming in. You never see them again, or you'll see them a few years later, and then maybe a mature male and a tiny little sling will pop up in the hobby. Yes.
If you have a false widow, right?
Yes.
And it lays the egg sac on or in your house on its own without your help, is it captive bred?
Isn't it captive born or something? Isn't it? The baby's a captive.
It depends. Born? If you've seen that little one being, I was a sling raised in your house. I mean, and it ends up being an adult female eventually. Then that's a captive bred project.
Nothing to help this spider breed, right? The waddle to your house by itself. The male waddle.
You just gave it perfect conditions. There you go.
They did this, and then voila, egg sac. Is that captive bred?
Guys, I've got hundreds of
I've got slings everywhere
running around at the moment. Like
I'm classing them as in this house. A lot of false widows.
Wild captive.
me and Lewis moved the racking around.
It's hilarious when you message me. It's like, Jeremy, they're everywhere.
Me and Lewis moved a couple of the racking around, and there's this one female with 3 egg sacs at the same time, and it was like, oh, I can't swear because it's not 9 o'clock, but you can imagine the thoughts going through our heads. And
it's good that you spotted them before they hatched. I didn't have that luxury. I had slings everywhere.
I hatched one of the sacks out.
3 days later, they hatched out in a deadly cup.
3 days later, that's right. Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah, Hetrapoda, the bane of my life.
Well, I suppose this pulls us around to the other thing. Was at least now there's a couple of groups. People with males and females can hook up. But more importantly, you can find out what each other's are breeding and possibly not breed the same thing. Otherwise, Cole's going to end up with 1,000 of one species. Steve will, so will you, Jeremy. So at least if you can tell each other's, we're doing this or we're doing that, then, the other one can go, well, I'm going to do this one if you're doing that one, or here's a male or whatever. So then we're not left with 2,000 of one single species, and then you can only sort of get rid of 500 maybe.
Hey, Jennifer. I'm always happy to share around my males or even pass along females. If someone has a male and they want to give a breeding attempt to go, I'm more than happy to pass along stuff. Like I even messaged Carl earlier. I just had a Viridaceus fasciatus come in today. I suspect it to be male, and he's got a group of them. So if any of them end up being an adult female before mine matures, because he's still dinky, I'm more than happy to send
them the ones with the long pointy legs, and they've got like a white stripes going down the legs. Cave spider.
Yeah, the one that Phil got. I got one today.
You've got the fasciata, and then you've got the other one that they put into their own genus at the time, but looks like the fasciata as well, haven't you? I'd have to message Tim for the actual scientific name. It's been that long since I had one.
Ooh, I don't know. If I'm completely honest, I just know of the fasciatas. So but they're
No, I
stark.
know that there was another one that looked very, very similar to it, but I can't remember the name of it at all.
Since last time, well, it probably passed away about a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and they still hadn't decided what genus it was going to go in, if it was going to go in the same one, or if it was even going to continue with its own, or what.
So it's still got an unmarked gravestone.
Oh yeah, I just, yeah.
And that's the problem with the true spider hobby. And it's important what Carl's other people are attempting to do is to, if we have species that we practically know nothing of, which is 99% of the true spiders half of the time, because we get imports sporadically. True spiders aren't like a primary collecting thing for collectors out there. They're going for like big tarantulas or beetles and other more popular species. We've had problems with like Barolestes, Scotatus, Paradere occidentalis, and then we get the smaller ones, which people think they're juvies, but they end up being what's the other one, Carl?
Variators.
The Variators, yeah. So it's stuff like that.
That's the Cameroon crab spider, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What
common
are the
import, they will be
species
labeled
again in
as
mixed?
Scotatus. Yeah. So like the common name or the labeled name would be Scotatus. But what people have found out is most of them are occidentalis, which are a little bit smaller than the Scotatus. Scotatus get a little bit bigger. And then you get the occasional Variatus mixed in, which are smaller Barolestes, a lot smaller. But of course, you just cup them up. You think they're a juvenile. And lo and behold, you have an egg sac and hundreds of slings running around.
The problem is then that egg sac is then like, oh yeah, you want a Barolistus? Yeah, there you go. That's a Barolistus. And then you've got thousands of spiders out there incorrectly named. But then if somebody's importing, you have to state what spiders are coming in. So how do they get around that? Because a lot of things are literally, I guess that genus, species, I would just say species Cameroon, because that's where the imports come from. That, for me, is extremely annoying, because that's when we need guys like you that are really putting the research in to go, well, Scott, that's one of these, actually.
Yeah. There's a lot of that, mate. A lot of these stuff that's caught is caught by people that actually don't know what they're catching. And then it's all sort of potted up.
Scoop them up and chuck them on a list.
Doing IDs and going, yeah, that looks like that. That looks like that. I've received stuff that is supposed to have been a specific species, and I've opened the pot and it's like, you are 100% not what you're supposed to be. But it's not the seller's fault, because it's come directly from the capture. So they've potted it in a pot that's sealed. So they've actually incorrectly identified it, which, if you don't know, then you're instantly going to put, oh yeah, this is such and such with a photo. And then you put it on like one of the true spider sites, and normally someone will very quickly let you know if it is or it isn't.
Nope, that is not that.
Yeah. You're massively incorrect.
They're just no. It's just waiting for a post to come up.
Steve says one of the big problems is quite a large percentage is yet to be scientifically identified and placed into the correct genus. Jennifer, I got a tiny one of my small crickets the other day. It's so cute.
Oh yeah, those little robber spiders that you find inside the little cricket pots.
You just call them cricket killers, don't you? Cricket spiders.
Yeah.
Are you two both mobile, able to show spiders and a couple of setups up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wicked. If you are on Eight-Legged Hunters Facebook group, scroll back. Just go to that page. Go to Carl's Crate page and scroll back a few months, and you'll be able to see him setting up his room that he's in now. It's wicked.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
This is the first time that I'm showing it off. So, yeah.
It looks amazing. You smashed it.
Yeah. Cheers, Steve. Thank you.
These spiders are jumping spiders classed as a true, and Arona says yes, they are. Well, Claire breeds them, don't she, for a start? Oh, yeah, I've had that same problem before, Rose Donna. Rose Donna was gifted a free tarantula, but no idea what it was because there's no name on it. Hey, Nessa.
No, the amount of people who know with a spider that they have no idea what it is.
Can you remember when the couple of mystery boxes a couple of years ago, they were doing it and they wouldn't label the spider because then it was a proper mystery.
Oh wow!
At that time, it was very much like, let me just remove my brain and then we'll do this idea.
Hey, Bailey, think well.
Did you pick up any truths at the show on Sunday, Jeremy?
I did. I picked up a pair of Peloctonus hematosoma, subadult male, adult female, both beautiful. I'll show a video later on of the male eating a dubia, and oh my god, it's crazy. And then I got gifted a couple of the what was that, Scott?
And what are the common names for those ones?
Oh, the red fang wanderer. Beautiful spiders. One of my favourite attendants that we can keep without a license.
Did you not go round to Bugnut and get the black fang pet?
I've got an adult female right now and a subadult male, so I'm hoping the male molts soon because the female's getting really big.
My male passed
She's
away.
massive.
I think it lasted 3.5 months as a mature male, but my god, stunning is an understatement. The gold on it,
really.
Oh mate,
males are nice, aren't they?
The Hetrapoda Bowie is still mature from the Coventry show, and
He's
it was
still going.
Still going, and it was wild caught. So that's God knows how. But that again, that's an insight that you're not going to know about, are you? Unless you actually get one. It's like so you think of true spider males living a month, maybe 2 months, and then along pops one, and it's like it's there and it's there and it's there, and it keeps going and going and going.
And it's stuff like that is like why I want to, and I'm assuming Carl will say the same. It's like why I want to get captive bred slings and juveniles into the hobby, because if you think about, like you said, like a wild caught male lasting months, imagine being able to raise that from a sling to an adult. It's fascinating as well. It's like it's complete. I know, like with the tarantulas, like some people will buy a sling, but then that sling won't mature for decades, probably.
True spider, 2 years.
With the Aphonopelma, Brachypelma, you have some of the jumping spiders sling to mature in about a year and a bit. So it's like you're being able to see that lifespan spread out super quick, and yes, it's the downside that they die quickly, but to be able to see a whole lifespan in a year, it's really something else.
Tron says, "What is the longest living true spider species?" There was one. Didn't live to 42, then it died from wasp infection, wasp larvae. That was a trapdoor.
So that's a mygalomorph. So the whole true spider, mygalomorph, and araneomorphs. The reason that people that really understand true spiders, or araneomorphs, I should say, don't like the term true spider, because people think that, well, anything other than a tarantula. But it's actually where the spiders are set up. So araneomorphs don't have, most of them, apart from, I think, one family, it's literally got like one genus or whatever in it that has like 2 pairs of book lungs. But mygalomorphs have 2 pairs of book lungs. A lot of them are generally built the same way. Their fangs sort of bite downwards. There's generally, a lot of them are ambush predators. Araneomorphs have a pair of book lungs, and a lot of them have actually, the rear pair of book lungs have changed into like breathing tubes, trachea. So they're able to breathe a lot more efficient, which means they can sort of do some incredible things. So that's the differences between them. So when I think of true spiders, I think of solely araneomorphs. All of them, their life expectancy is very short. I think realistically, the oldest female you're going to get is like 4 years. Mygalomorphs, they're the ones that you'll tend to find that they live 10, 20, 30 years. And that one that you're on about, 46 years, was a species of funnel web, I believe. And that was 46 years.
Because it was actually studied over those 46 years as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then someone turned up and it died.
And they just
got killed by a wasp.
Yeah, just imagine though. How long would that have lived for if that wasp hadn't got it?
I know.
Bailey's Bug Blog, Andrew, I know he's a massive UK species geek. I do apologise now, there's only a couple that I know. But he said we have a megalomorph, the only megalomorph in the UK, which is the Aphidus.
Atipus, yeah.
Which one's that?
What?
It's they're little, kind of like a little black tick with like massive fangs, and they live in little web tunnels in grasslands. We can find, I don't think, where can you find them? Closer towards the northern area, I believe that's where you can find them.
He is up north, yeah.
I've learned something tonight. I didn't realise we had any in the UK.
I like
yeah, the Atipus.
Well, I don't.
I've seen
again,
you know, my UK species knowledge is very limited, but I know them just as the green fangs. We've got green fangs in Coventry.
Yeah.
I had one of those living in the front door for a little while, and my wife just kept feeding it every week. Purse web as well. Can find some near the lakes.
But just talking back to the question quick, I think like from what I've heard from a few people, the longest living-ish in captivity true spider-wise will probably be the Cucurcania, with some people saying that they've kept them, as Carl said, 4-ish to 5, maybe 6 years as females from raising them from young to adult. With wild caught, of course, you don't know. Most of the time they are females because the males typically look like the infamous Loxosceles reclusa. So they don't collect them, obviously. So 99% of the imports will be adult or juvenile females. And they're quite long-lived. I've had mine now for probably like 6 to 8 months, and they've not shown any signs of wearing down anytime soon. And I've had some species which I'm like, oh my God, yes, I've got this. It's like, and then dead after a month.
I mean, trapdoors are supposed to, some of the trapdoors can live 25 years, can't they? The Wurtmani is supposed to be one of them.
It's just because of the little energy that they utilize and, slow growing, and they have the capabilities of going for food without food for months. So it's like going on that. Don't bulk feed them. Yeah, you can probably have a trapdoor for years, depending on the size.
Just going back to the misidentification in the UK, have either of you ever seen a DWA being sold as a viable spider because somebody's misidentified it incorrectly?
No.
Brilliant. Good.
Which is really, really good. And guys, please, if you want to keep DWAs, get your license. Do not smuggle them in. It's not good for the hobby. It's one thing that I'll always push along. Yes, they look cool, but it's not worth the risk to yourself, to people around you, and to the hobby in general. Because all that has to happen is one person gets bit, they get sent to the hospital, gets on the news, dangerous wandering spider bites person, ends up in hospital, and that just crushes the hobby. The government will take notice, and a whole string of things will occur. So legal and sustainable, guys.
So my wife's agreed to me having DWA, but when I can keep them outside of the house. So I think
in a facility type style.
It's £360, but then you have to jump through some other hoops as well as.
That's a good price for you, man. I know some people who are like, they're paying upwards of $2,000 for their license. So $360.
I think Matt Lockett's under that. I think over in Wales, if I remember rightly, it's 100 and something. Hopefully somebody in the chat, unless Lewis already knows.
I thought Wales was really high.
Over 100 quid, yeah. It's less than 200 anyway.
I'm not interested in DWA.
I'm not in DWA.
No, we're just talking about prices.
I looked into the DWA in my area. I think it's around 300-ish as well. So something I would consider, but of course in a facility I'm not comfortable keeping them. Even if it wasn't in my room, in a garage or a shed or nothing, I wouldn't be comfortable keeping them in an area where my family are. So that's the big goal in the future. Having a Bugs UK style thing with DWAs all on display.
125 quid. That's how big
£125 where Lear is. That is cheap. Steve says it's 246 in Derbyshire. And then obviously, we're talking about thousands in other areas. It's down to the council, isn't it? Going, are we greedy enough to charge them extra? Basically, well, I don't think I'd be comfortable keeping DWA in the house, knowing that my kids are the other side of this wall. Could you imagine? Yeah, it's just
God forbid something escape or
What was your changing the subject? What were your guys' first true spiders? Mine was the Hogna Miami was the first one that kind of got me into trues.
Oh, well.
Giovanna.
I'm trying to think now. Giovanna, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was a Phidippus regius jumping spider. The very first show, 2019, all the way to a mature male. Great experience. I can admit, I got it from a seller who was selling them super dinky and somehow managed to raise it to a mature male with limited knowledge at the time. So, woohoo.
Thomas, if you wanted one in Scotland, it'd be £1,500, by the way.
Jeez.
Philip, who fish, he has actually got a DWA, is 1,200 in Nottingham.
Wow. She's then got insurances on top as well.
And Philip has got some amazing DWA species.
So jealous.
I want to know what Bailey can get bit by a chili rose.
Sorry?
How many times did he
what?
get in the face? Bit by a chili rose.
Rosedana, DWA is basically a license that permits you to keep DWA dangerous animals in your home, basically. So anything that can kill or very seriously maim.
Philip,
Which is
jealous of your Fenutria.
It's his widows. His widows with the red spots all over the abdomens are just like.
Oh yes.
And then they've got the white circle around the red spots, and then the black abdomen. I'm like, wow. If a spider ever got the heart pumping, and they are just something else. Absolutely something else.
It's such a shame that they're on the DWA list because they're just the most clumsy spiders you'll ever see in your life. They would rather just drop to the floor and play dead like a blue death fang beetle than ever think of biting you.
I know. Poke it and it turns into a Malteser. How scary is that?
The forbidden blueberry. It's just like,
what do you guys? What's your personal opinions, not professional opinions, or based on maybe research that you both are more affiliated to than what I know? But one of the sand spiders toxicity levels, and then obviously the red fang as well. One of the reasons I asked this is because at the shows they've banned banned the sand spiders because they're saying they're too close to DWA, but they let the red fangs be sold, and they're classified almost as buy them now before they become DWA.
Yeah, marketing ploy personally, that one. Shortly after I got one, I was told, they're quick, they're aggressive, they're dangerous. I found that completely the opposite. You go near it, it hides. I've picked up blocks of wood and they've been on there and they've just literally tucked themselves in. Never once have I had a threat pose apart from a male that I got from Stephen. He was a bit feisty up until he turned into a sub-adult. But
and macrotheli, of course, banned, Bailey. And the macrotheli as well are obviously banned.
Yeah, well,
just to prove Carl's point.
There you go. There you go. She's even guarding an egg sac.
Let me just. So when people talk about the red fang, she is gorgeous.
So this is a female Peloptinus hematosoma, wild caught. I would say paired. I'm not listing the slings as captive bred because I didn't see the pairing occur. She was in there for 15 minutes, but then when he jumped off her back, she went for him. So I didn't see the pairing, so I'm not going to say they're captive bred. I'll label them as captive born. But yeah, she's produced 3 egg sacs for me now. And just to prove Carl's point, I've taken macro shots of many of my hematosoma, putting them in the photo box to take photos. And 80% of the time, they'll just sit still like this. Of course, she's guarding an egg sac, so she'll be a little bit more reclusive to move around. But I have done so with juveniles, mature males, and they'll just sit there. They don't want to move around. If you do provoke them, of course, or poking and prodding them, they will put a threat pose up. But other than that, completely harmless otherwise. if you handle them properly, of course.
And the bite reports, people have
when we say handle, we don't mean pick up.
Oh yes, yeah. No, I do not hold these. Handle them as in, like, you know, rehousing them, feeding them, giving them water, spraying, etc., etc.
My red fangs have always hid at the back of the enclosures, and when I put food in at the front, they must feel the vibrations through the leaflet, and they come flying out, grab it, and I swear they look at me going and go disappearing and just disappear back again. You know what I mean?
It's just like,
Yeah.
I wonder where all this, like, the fearmongery, like, regarding the red fang's venom level, toxicity level, is actually kind of stirred from.
Wow,
there must
fear
be,
creates excitement, doesn't it?
it's the whole Cetenidae family.
Yeah.
Blame for Nutria, the Brazilian wandering spiders. They're the whole reason why the whole Cetenidae family is beware, dangerous, will kill you, will chase you down, bite you in your sleep. If it wasn't for the Nutria, I guarantee the rest of the Cetenidae family would just be treated as other true spiders, really.
Right.
See, Uncle Dave also said, really don't understand the reasoning behind the sand spider. So, I mean, I got two of the sand spiders, and I just find them completely fine to deal with.
Yeah.
Faster than what I thought. They will fly around the enclosure, but they don't climb up the plastic or anything like that. And as soon as they're leveled again, they're burying themselves in the sand. And I've seen a couple of videos where I do not advise anybody doing this at all. So, but I've seen it where people have actually poked the sand spider to prove that the sand spider just, you know, the likelihood of it biting you
They'll just sit there if they can.
Yeah, pretty far and fetched.
Evolution, their camouflage is that good that they have no need to bite. They trust it 100%.
And it's from, if you think of it from a survival instinct, it's like a spider that relies so heavily on their camouflage. Why would they try to run when it will alert the predator that there is something there?
Yeah. So
they would try to stay still as much as possible.
So with the sand spiders, I mean, I remember you could buy sand spiders for about 20, 30 quid. Suddenly they're like 50 pounds upwards. I was speaking to Bugs UK and I said, have you got any sand spiders on the site? And they were like, literally, we've got one left and it's going to be sold at 60 quid. I was like, what? I bought one off you about, 3 months before Christmas for 50. Where's the extra tenner come from? And it's smaller than the one I've got here.
It's the whole issue with breeding them as well, because they take quite a fair time to mature.
Oh, the sand spiders, they are far between molts.
So you could get the egg sac, but it's like, you need to make sure that heat is consistent, otherwise those eggs are going to die. Because if you've ever seen the cocoons, it's really, really cool. Like, they'll wrap the cocoon in sand, and it's like a little pyramid.
Didn't Andy from So Many Legs pair them and breed them successfully?
He did, yeah. I got my first one from him. So excited about that. And I think the reason why people say like the Sicarius venom is so toxic is because the tests that they've done, it amplified it to the point where it could harm us, and that's where the fear comes from. Obviously, with something pricking you like that, the venom that they probably would inject into you would not harm you whatsoever. And then it doesn't help that they're in similar family to Loxosceles, which are the brown recluses. So the families are fairly similar genetics wise. So they just assume if the venom of Loxosceles is bad, gangrenous and etc., surely Sicarius could be similar.
Do the same.
But again, it's not solidified as of yet. You know, the changes in papers are happening all the time. They're deadly, don't touch them. Oh, they're harmless, it's another species. And you know, it's not solidified yet. So
just quickly address this one. Nameless Collector, are issues in the hobby worst over there in the UK? And then over here in the US, do you all have a lot of restrictions? Is the hobby being attacked? No, the hobby's not being attacked. It's just if you want to keep a spider that could kill you or seriously harm you, we have to get correct licenses for them. That's basically it at the moment. And then the sellers like to hype stuff up, being on the verge of being DWA in order to put the prices up and sell them, because red fangs were quite pricey until Bugnut started bringing them in, and then everybody had to reduce the prices down because he was like, yeah, 15 quid for a juvie, off you go.
Yeah, I remember seeing slings being sold for like 25, 30.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And now you see sub-adults and adult going for 25, pairs £40.
Bugnut again.
Yeah.
In 4
I'm hoping
minutes
to drop the price down further.
It'll be 9 o'clock in 4 minutes. At 9 o'clock, we do swear. We do go into a bit more adult conversation. So come 9, if you have got kids watching, probably best to either turn us off or stop them watching, because we will be swearing. Like, just a 4-minute warning. Have you guys got anything that we can have a look at? If so, who wants to go first?
I'm going to be honest.
How you want to go first?
I do need the toilet.
Oh, go on, mate.
Is that all right?
Yeah, you don't even have to say that on this channel, right? If you have to disappear for anything,
it's like
you are going for a poo.
That's right. Okay, that's fine. I just don't want to walk off and it'd be like, where's he gone?
Oh,
Expecting me to bring something back. Ciao. I'll see you in 5.
see a bit.
No worries. We'll start with Jeremy.
Yeah, I've got some stuff at the moment. Then,
what you say, Ellie?
just
So the
gently.
new guy went to write his will.
Have you got any true spiders
This
at the
is
moment?
my paired female Hogna Maderiana, commonly known as the yellow-footed or Santo Porto wolf spider. Really, really gorgeous species. Originally was called Hogna schmitzi, and I'm so annoyed that they changed the scientific name to Maderiana, because schmitzi sounds so much better. But I've currently got 2 of these females paired up with egg sacs.
Interesting that the red fang
they
planted the egg sac actually on the cork bark, and it
Just ask
and it
me.
was stuck
Why? Could have a
on that
true-
cork bark, and then you look at this one, another wandering spider, and it's carrying it behind itself.
Yeah, so like with the difference with the so like the Satennas, they will guard the egg sac and prop it onto a piece of wood, whereas the Lycosids, what they'll do is so the wolf spiders, so they'll go to a little corner or they'll bury themselves underground. They'll lay a mat like typical spider, and they'll lay the eggs. They'll wrap it up into a ball, and what they'll do, they'll have a piece of silk hanging from the tip of the abdomen. I don't know if you saw, but it is hanging down by a bit of thread.
Yes, yeah, you can see it when you
If
move.
you can notice that.
Yeah, the egg sac moves
You
and the
see,
spider
like, a little
doesn't.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she'll carry that around, and what I love about the wolf spiders is their maternal care. So when the eggs hatch, they will climb onto the body, and with this egg sac being the size it is, I probably will assume that the slings will smother her, bless her. Like, she'll have slings all over her face and on her back. They'll go on her back until they're ready to molt out and disperse, and then from there on out, it's free for all, live on your own. But they will care for them for a fair long time. Is that right, Carl?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is a species that will devour the mother?
That's I'm not sure the genus is. It's the velvet spiders. Is that what they call it? I've never owned
Yeah,
one.
the
I've never
Erisidae.
kept them.
Ferox will eat them.
Yeah,
as
you've
well.
got some, haven't you?
Exact
Yeah.
at the moment of
nice.
Erisidae as well. It's not the most obvious, but let's see. Can you guys see in there?
Any of the spider
So
guys
it's
got a mature
just-
male carolinensis? Uncle Dave's looking for one.
So just
yeah,
that
mate.
Oh, I don't have
little
some.
like,
Got a few, but I'm waiting for
you
them.
see that little circular
Wow.
patch there. So that's an egg sac of Gundenomino, the what are they called? Just velvet spiders, I think the common name is for these. And yeah, so she'll guard. I don't know if you can see her in there. Is she visible?
Because just
Little black
underneath,
spot.
just at the back of the egg sac.
I think so.
Yeah, just down there.
Yeah,
so
you
she
can
will
just
guard
see
the
it.
egg sac, and when the slings hatch, she'll start to slow down, start like basically liquefying her insides, and the babies will eat her when they emerge from the egg sac. That'll be their first meal. And unfortunately, it has been tried before. You cannot take the slings away from the mother, keep the mother alive, otherwise the slings will perish. They need that first meal from the mum. I don't know if it's something like within like a protein or an enzyme that's within the mum's body that's produced to get those slings going, but you take the mum away, the slings will die, which is sad. But
it's 9 o'clock. We can now swear, and as tradition goes, Craig's called me a wanker already.
Oh, you're a wanker.
He got there before you, Louis.
Yeah, I was waiting for Jeremy to finish talking.
apologies.
Charlotte says I need velvet spiders in my life.
Oh, I'll have some Condena soon. The egg sack's been around for a couple of weeks now, so hopefully in the next 2 odd, I'll have some slings popping out.
Got Rivers. Hey, Scott.
And then just before you put me off the big screen, I'll give Carl a chance to show off some of his stuff. I just wanted to show this girl off. The bane of my life right now.
I'm so jealous.
There she is. So this is, if you guys aren't aware, Holconia insignis, also known as the giant Australian huntsman. Now, Holconia are known for being some of the largest spiders, and just from seeing my hand span, I've not got the biggest hands in the world. I'm kind of small in stature, I must admit, but they are a big spider.
Is that the Australian huntsman? The one where have you ever seen the? Yeah, have you seen the spider clock where you see it's like an urban legend now? You see the big, massive legs, long legs coming out from the side. So that is going to be
big, gangly legs.
The biggest spider in the world. Full stop.
I believe it's the specific species is Immanis, which get to that really big size. But the insignis, I believe, is probably second or third largest within the genus.
Yeah.
And I call her the bane of my existence because I've paired her. She's dropped 2 egg sacs and she's eaten both. So I'm just next time she's getting pretty big now. So I'm hoping she's dropped me a third. And I'm going to pull that after 2 weeks.
She's Australian. Have you set her up upside down?
They got the cork in there that kind of looks.
Put the substrate on the ceiling, and then she might know where she's.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm just gonna stick it. There you go. Oh, don't want to drop the substrate. That's the last thing I need today.
For anybody who's watching as well, if you get true spiders, just try and keep them in their enclosures as much as you can. Jeremy and Carl are just getting them out purely so you guys can have a good look at them. You know. She is a beauty.
As huntsmans go, if they were more common, I would recommend them as a beginner species, just because they're less likely to bolt as quickly as other sporasses I found with owning some of these. And again, see, like they say, oh, huntsmans don't like light. She's pretty chill. She could have just jumped off and run away, but just handle the speed. Not very quick. Just don't spook them, really.
And, I think it's fair with anything, though, isn't it? If you can't really see very well and you're sort of like, you're making your way through life tapping and touching, and all of a sudden someone gives you a quick jab, I think I would shit myself.
Yeah, it's very true. Especially when your eyes are pretty much light receptors, so you can't see anything. Exactly. It's just darkness. There we go. All right, I'll pop you back now. I won't stress you out any longer. I'm sorry. Please produce me another egg sac. I want Holconia babies.
Yeah, so do I. We all do. Come on, we're waiting on you. The pressure's immense.
Oh God, it's gut wrenching every time, man. It's like
I can imagine, man. I can imagine.
The first time she had her egg sac, it was big, and I could see the nymphs crawling inside 25 days in. And I thought, I'll just leave it a little longer, let them hatch into slings, then I'll pull the sac, as I typically do. And then I come back the next day after checking her. There's a bolus on the floor, and I'm just like, oh.
That's really sad, man. Really
Never
sad.
mind.
So disappointing when you
hobby.
build yourself up something like that, and then you come back and you're waiting, and it's literally a matter of days, and you're like, right, in the next week, I'll get that out. And it's almost like you then feel like you didn't act quick enough.
Yeah, I was literally, I just sat down.
Yesterday, everything would have been okay.
Oh my God.
But it happens, dude. It's part of keeping spiders. everyone always like assumes that in order to keep spiders, everything has to go absolutely perfect. But you will get deaths, random deaths, just where they sporadically suddenly drop. You know, it's their existence, isn't it? Produce many and try and get a few to adulthood so that they can carry on. And obviously they're successful at doing it. So,
will they eat while they're in an egg sac?
100%.
What,
Hey?
100% they will and no, they won't? Or
what you said, will
Yes.
they eat once they're inside the egg sac? Well, will it closed?
when the female produces the egg sac and she's sitting there guarding the egg sac, will she eat at the same time?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant sorry, mate. I thought you meant I thought you meant all the babies inside the sac start eating. I was like, no, they're kind of concentrating on growing at that point. I think I need to turn my volume up.
I was like, hold on a second.
Females will eat. Somewhere anyway.
I always try to feed if I give it a few days, and if she's looking like she doesn't need to eat, I won't feed her because obviously don't want to stress them out. Otherwise, they will eat the egg sac. But if she could do with a meal, I'll chuck in a large prey item in there. Obviously, nothing too big, like maybe an adult female lobster roach. I'll chuck one in, and they'll happily eat it. Just avoids the risk of them eating the egg sac. Didn't ruin my whole coney though.
Nessa says that's the worst part of the hobby card: unexplained and unexpected deaths. Well, yeah, and the fortunate thing with spiders is they tend to look all right, and then they look ill, and 24 hours later they're gone. You've almost got no.
When, like sort of the abdomen's looking depressed, but when they're a fat, healthy spider, and I say fat, I don't mean ballooned abdomen. I mean nice and round and the size it should be. But, you know, when you've seen a spider go from being active and then you come in, I've done it where I've come in hours later and they've had their legs tightly curled in. It's like, oh, no. It's not. It can't have been water because you've got access to, like, most of these spiders get sprayed sort of every other day. So we don't use water bowls. So they get access to water. But you start, you know, especially when you start off, you do kind of
Not Ian.
game.
Andy Hood says Stegiophus lineatus is another species where the young eat their mother.
Yeah.
I'll put that up on screen.
Unfortunately, all Aristidae. It's such a shame.
Did I even pronounce that one correctly, Jeremy?
Which one is it? I say Stegodiphus. Latin.
Hold on. Lewis, how did you say that, mate?
Typhus.
Yeah, Stegodiphus lineatus.
Yeah.
South African, right? They're South African, or they're from Cameroon. They typically come with the Cameroon imports, I think, off the top of my head. I do own one at the moment. She's very cute. They're just so derpy. Aristidae are just so derpy. Like, you would think, like, how would you survive in the wild? But to be fair, when you feed them, they come out quick. And you just see these, like, because their fangs, they're so tiny. You just see them just nipping. And it's hilarious when they, like, try to bite the wing of a moth and, like, they tear through the wing and the moth's, like, struggling away and they just look all angry. It's like, It's like trying to grab them again after.
Some communities, people doing communities or communals, with them, aren't they? Or is that another species?
Not lineatus. I think it's Stegodiphus dumicola. That's the communal one. So,
yeah.
Again, with all communals, there is risk of eating.
Communal spider, isn't it?
There's quite a few.
The one that you sent, Scott, the one with the big webs on the trees as well. Those ones. Yeah.
Trichnothelia inuota. You've got the red-legged and the gold orb weavers, but then they don't exactly share the same web, do they? They'll make one web.
Yeah.
If they hook a supporting piece of web up to another web, it's just there just to hold their web in place, but they don't actually share it. But they will live as neighbours.
Yeah, it's like a colony more than a communal, but still they'll tolerate each other. And what's the point of fighting? You could injure yourself, so just bygones be bygones.
the only real sort of proper communal spider lives in Australia.
Or the spiders.
Common name is the social huntsman, but Duncaries, Delacare. I can't think what the bloody name of them is now. I don't like to say spiders look freaky because obviously I want to promote spiders, but they kind of give me the heebie-jeebs a little bit. They're the only spider, and like the house spiders that we get over here, that sort of make me go, I may not try and hold that one. But yeah, they were like colonies of like 300.
They're from the Mediterranean basin.
Oh,
the
Steve's here. Hello.
Yeah, Steve's been in from the word go.
The only spider that
I
makes
didn't
me
know.
go,
Hello, dude.
Yeah, Steve.
Oreo spider.
Yeah.
What did you say?
By the
Lewis?
way, Steve, your stuff came today. Thank you so much. They all arrived perfect.
The only spider that sort of makes me go "Ooh," is the Oreo spider. The Oreo, I don't know what it's called. The
Those are
trapdoor.
freaky
Yeah,
little
yeah, I know
things.
what you mean.
Because like if it was looks like an Oreo on the floor, and you might
Hey,
go,
Matt.
look, and then you just go,
Like
that
a
ain't
little
an
miniature
Oreo.
Oreo
Yeah.
from like one of those little
The
kids.
forbidden Oreo.
Size.
Uncle Dave is
Forbidden
pairing up link
biscuit.
spiders soon.
It does. It looks like a biscuit.
Oh, good luck, Dave. I will buy a bunch of slings off you. I love the link spiders.
Carl, can we go on a wander and have a look?
Yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry.
Yes. I want to see the room too. Oh.
I don't know what you guys can see. Let me get the camera up quickly.
Again, if you want to see like loads of pictures of all these, pop along to eight-legged on eight-legged hunters.
You guys are in
on
for a treat. His room is
Facebook.
eye candy. It's just like, oh, love it. Love it.
So this is generally the
for
Russell
tarantula keepers, for people that keep tarantulas only. This is like if Uncle Dave was only doing true spiders, you know.
Problem is, a lot of these spend a lot of time hiding because they've got the lights on. So, and I've only put the lights on really just so people can actually see what's going on. We've got one little fella there, a Tory that's. I think you guys have probably seen hundreds of these, haven't you?
Oh, still a beauty.
It's one of the only true spiders I find that's like relatively bred a lot in the hobby. Is the
Yeah,
Venatoria.
they're quite common, aren't they?
Yeah. Which is weird. It's like you'd think like, you know, David Bowie or Bowie would be bred more, but no, Venatoria.
Oh. Hi, Aaron.
Got in here. What was that one, Carl?
Sorry, that was Hetrapoda.
Oh, the Venatoria. Okay.
Predator, we got Boy Eye here. Don't know where she is. She's hiding.
Just going off subject. I bought a couple of hermit spiders on Sunday, and oh my god, the hermit crab. Sorry, and you just think you got rats in your room. You're just constantly clonk, clink, clank, clonk, clonk. It's like, what's that? What's that?
Yeah, they are noisy little. Oh, look at that.
What's that one?
That's a Boy
Oh,
Eye. Or Bow Eye. That's a female.
Beautiful.
I've got a mature male, but the mature male has a funny leg. I was saying to Jeremy, so
Yeah, we've
but
got
there is some considerable leg size difference between the male and the female with those.
There is.
Yeah.
The males.
It's
my
something
male
about lichen
gotta
mimics.
be-
Oof, my favourites.
Oh yeah.
Lichen mimics. I love them.
There's a male. I don't know if I can focus on him. I don't even know if you guys can hear me.
Hey, we
Oh,
can
yeah,
hear ya.
we can hear you. I take it that's not a
Look at
mature
that.
male, though, is it?
No. This guy's tiny. It's coming in.
The colours just go boom when they're a mature male.
Yeah, that's weird because that
Like
kind of
mostly
start
green,
coming
like
through from
red.
quite an early age. I've noticed that I was surprised at how quickly they started turning because males just seem to keep this really, really strong pattern or pattern. No, they're not out.
Yeah,
I take it all the true spiders like to shit up the glass as much as what the tarantulas do. Then.
Oh yeah, I've kind of given up. Yeah. Sorry guys, a lot of them like to hide. Now this little lady is a lanula who's been bred with one that was sent to me from Jenny, a male. He survived. Unfortunately, he was supposed to go to Jeremy, and then he passed away the day I was supposed to be shipping him out. But she's kind of gone dormant, and she's been in this position for about 3 weeks. She hasn't moved. So,
do you reckon that's just a process? That's what they do.
I'd like to think it's yeah. She is. She stopped feeding, and I have noted because she stopped feeding and she started going quite thin. And I thought, well, maybe she's reaching the end of her life. And I noticed like depressions in her abdomen. I was making sure she was hydrated, etc. There's nothing in that one. This one, I never actually see them, but this is something that Jenny gave us, which is like a little colony. Sorry. They just seem to appear.
Oh, these are beautiful. These ones.
It's typical, though, isn't it? As soon as you say they're beautiful, it's like, yeah, they're hiding. And I think that just goes to spiders, tarantulas, any animal.
No, I'm going to give up. She went into a weird state where she just sort of stopped eating. I thought maybe she was going to die. Introduced the male to her anyway because I thought, well, hopefully something will come of it. And they were found really, really close. He was almost right behind her. So I don't know if I disturbed them. I'd like to think that they paired because they were left sort of 48 hours. They were left a considerable amount of time for it to happen.
Bailey's just if they're communal.
So I'm hoping that the lanula's putting. I hope that's being fat from eggs. Fingers crossed. Anyway, this lady always hides. She's down there. Metastoma. Stomach. Everything
That's
is
a beautiful enclosure.
Is that right out? No. Well, you know what, guys? The wolves are normally always out. Here we go. Yeah, like clockwork.
Oh, gorgeous.
They are stunning, aren't they?
I just love the legs, how they come down to what looks like to be a real skinny dot at the end of the leg. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the angling as well for me. It's like they're just always ready.
I've got a male that I was sent because I've got loads of females but no males, and I was sent a male, and this is pretty much what he's done since the entire time he's got here. I put him. This was the tank of a female, so I added him, and he basically ran into a hole, chucked her out, and he's been living in there since.
He's just taking over her closure. Is he still hiding?
Don't they, Huntsman?
This one's normally in there. Oh, it's their eyes. There was a bit of eye shine there. I can't see now.
What's great with the lycosids, so like if you ever go to like an area where you can find them, it's like similar to scorpions with the blue light. If you shine a flashlight into the area, you'll just see the eyes just glowing back at you.
Yeah, great way of catching them, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd love to do it in like Carolinensis territory at some point.
I think wolf spiders are one of those. Well, it's like, how do you keep them? It's like, well, however really you want to set the setup, that's how they will live.
Pretty much. I realised that keeping it drier is the way to succeed.
I mean, obviously, I chat to some of the Americans, and they're like, "Yeah, the Hogden in Miami, we've got them in the cellar. We see them in bushes. We see them in damp areas.
Super adaptable, yeah.
Yeah.
I've just set up. It's a video coming out, so I won't show the setup yet. But you've seen it in the group chat. I set up a enclosure for my Carolinensis today, and I mentioned in the videos like I've got moss on either side, and wherever side that she decides to web up, I'll keep that humid in one area dry. And if she chooses to move to the other side, obviously, I'll do vice versa. So if she prefers dry, I'll stop spraying down that side of the corner of the tank, and just to give them the option, because they can continuously wander to their preference of humidity and heat, etc. Oh, your setups are cracking, dude. I love it.
Cheers, dude. I've kind of found that keeping them in a box with core doesn't really work.
I can't stand core.
I hate
core, cocoa fibre, however you want to say it. I can't stand it.
It's that age-old question.
I just stopped using it years ago.
For me, it just breeds mushrooms every time.
Yeah, every time. And just from personally, from an aesthetic look, I just don't like the look of it.
Oh, we got the scorpions there as well.
Yeah, problem is they're really good at hiding a lot of those because the lights are on.
Now, what you're talking about, the misidentification of true spiders, Phil, Scott Rivers, Tim Baxter, they're finding the same thing with the scorpions as well. Literally the same issues that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Massively so. Anybody in chat has got any comments regarding true spiders or anything, drop them in now so I can keep checking. If you haven't liked the video, please do so. Like the stream, that'd be absolutely awesome. Jackson said, I keep hearing you guys say about cocoa fibre, but I've only had mushrooms issues with peat moss. Yeah, in the UK, Jackson, for some reason, majority of people just get mushrooms with the cocoa fibre. Not everybody. Some people use it really effectively, but I always find mushrooms.
The trick is to put a lump of charcoal in there and you don't get mushrooms.
What's the charcoal do?
It cleanses it. As long as you don't use the ones with the chemicals in for the barbecue, you just get the pure raw charcoal. The briquettes. They're not called briquettes today. That's the ones with the chemicals in the barbecue.
Claire says
charcoal lumpids. They're that.
Might give it a go.
I'm always looking to improve my subject mixes, so I might have to crushing up some charcoal mixing in there, but I don't want to get my hands all covered in charcoal is the problem.
I was speaking to Phil about substrates, and he recommends, and this is what all the zoos use and the botanical gardens and that use, it's cocoa fibre, topsoil, sphagnum moss, and crushed up charcoal, and it's all mixed into a big. I
know the charcoal. We use it a lot with fish tanks because it's got a huge surface area and it helps grow beneficial bacteria. I just assume that's why they went into bioactive setups, because it does the same type of thing.
It's also used in filtration, so it purifies water.
Yeah.
Springtail cultivation uses charcoal as well.
Yeah, you have to remember charcoal is trees that are being burnt down, but minerals can't burn. Minerals always remain, so that's what's left over. So then detoxify other things.
Ah.
Well, charcoal is good to have in your substrate. Because you got to think, when you're running
I have to start buying some charcoal now.
Water is what produces the mushrooms, because mushrooms need damp and whatnot.
Yeah.
So if you've got the charcoal in there, it's purifying the water, so it's not allowing those spores to have bloom.
Yeah, springtails bloom on charcoal. I keep charcoal in with my snails, and I've got a good mix of snails and springtails.
Claire says, I've never had mushrooms. Is it detrimental to the inverts because I think it'd look cool? No. The mushrooms, for me, it's more of their spores affecting us, possibly.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
but
goodness.
Scott, there's only certain types
Well,
of mushrooms, and you can jump on mushroom research, and you'll find out they won't hurt you or your business.
Do you know most mushrooms?
Two of our kids
Oh,
have got asthma, so I'd just rather. I don't like the look of them either.
Yeah, but there's a big
It's like I've got some mushrooms growing in my.
Hey,
Oh, a bit off topic.
And
This
it
is
has
my
to go
mantis
strong,
enclosure
Scott.
for a pseudocanthops
You never know.
lobipes,
That'd be a
the
fun guy.
moss mimic. I've got mushrooms growing in here, but what I find the problem with the mushrooms is when they die, they leave like stains on
Yeah.
the tub. So I try to disencourage it where I can, but you see, I just let the mushrooms grow in here. It kind of looks cool.
those little ones are actually
No.
exciting, like good soil health.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
you know that mushroom isn't dead, right?
No, he said when they die.
Yeah, but
Oh
they
no
don't.
no! I mean
Yeah,
like
that's
the
just the
ones
flower,
on the
yeah.
is
No,
where
they get
previous
water.
have grown. Yeah,
Basically,
you see the black stuff.
what it
That's
is,
dead
a
mushrooms.
mushroom is the flowering plant of a fungi. The fungi is already in there. The mushroom is just the flowering plant. Sorry, my words is not coming
Yeah,
out.
I think it came from
There
the
is
moss or something.
there is a
but
theory that the
looks
whole
cool.
forest floor, when it's got all that fungus, is it actually communicates to each other through the fungus does. Well, that is another stream.
Scientific.
The Last of Us. Best show ever. Love it. Guys haven't watched it, you're missing out. Best game ever. Best
Avatar.
TV show so far.
Avatar.
The Last of Us.
What am
I'd
I
rather watch The
for?
Last of Us than
Last of
Avatar.
Us. Last
You
of Us.
watch
Yeah.
it?
I'll have to have a look. Balfour Town says, have the true spider guys got any of those big house spiders? As we've got one living in the house, which is almost 4 inches.
Oh, but I like
Yeah,
that.
Ratagino can get huge. I've got a juvenile that wandered into my room, so I'm just housing it for now until it warms up and I'll let it go back outside.
Oh, does that mean it's captive then?
There is
Captive, held captive.
there's a lot of love for
But for its own
charcoal.
benefit, it's not freezing out there, so.
There's a lot of love for charcoal in substrate in the comments. Phil uses it at work. As Lewis says, if it's good enough for Phil, it's good enough for the rest of us because it is all obviously zoo enclosures.
Yeah.
Nameless collector.
I went through raising productions and stuck a lump of charcoal in them.
What do y'all think are some leading causes of random spider deaths, like coming home to find one dead? I know everybody's just going to jump straight into that dehydration, aren't they?
Well, to be fair, if your care's up, then it's just one of those things. As long as you know that they've been given a good temperature and that they've got the decent amount of substrate if it needs it, or things to climb on and hide behind, and it's got access to water and food, then a dead spider is just one of those things, unfortunately.
The thing is,
it could be genetical,
They
could
also
just
ask-
be something gone wrong in a feeder.
Has anyone ever kept an invert on paper towels, much like snakes? No.
Baby just asked if mantis substrate as paper towels. My mantis doesn't have substrate, Bailey.
No, I've never kept on.
Oh, the Diabolica.
I don't keep it on.
So
any
jealous
substrate
of those.
because it doesn't live down and it doesn't go down.
Yeah.
Do anything down.
Jeremy, do you want to see it?
The food goes down and then the food will fly up.
I
and
always
you'll
love
eat
seeing
it
them.
up. So I don't give it any kind of substrate because then it's easier to clean and it makes the mantis healthy. There's no problem.
Makes sense.
It's just an
That's a really
extra
good idea,
weight.
yeah.
I'm not being funny, but Ellie's kept the hardest mantis you could possibly care for in the world
Hey,
for adulthood.
If you've been able to
Or
raise
adulthood.
Diabolica so far to almost maturity, where 90%
No, to
of
maturity.
species fail.
To maturity.
Oh, they're matured now.
This is stunning.
Look at those. Oh,
But the only one
The
that I've
creme de
actually
la
kept on a paper towel was a spider at DKS.
And she does
Oh,
technically
look at
have she has substrate of casters.
That's really cool. Really cool.
She's massive.
like those
What's
manted
normal
rice
and it
are
should
like
be an adult.
super hard to keep, but Ellie's been crushing it so far. So
Well, I was hoping to breed them, but now she's too big because you have to keep them communally. So I need to get some more from a younger age to breed them.
Lewis,
yeah.
are you all right? Just
These things, basically.
he's frozen.
just a host.
Yeah, please. What? One of the boys has just come down with something.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you, and I hope those watching will just hold fire for 5 and understand that I live in a house with family.
That's all good.
Or the legs.
No, well, I'm surprised I haven't been bugged yet. Admittedly, I'm down the bottom of the garden away from everyone, but that doesn't stop the kids.
Yeah.
Got your
I'm
own
lucky. My little sisters right now, they're all conked to sleep 7 o'clock, so peace and quiet.
He's really big.
What are your sisters
I
like with
wish.
spiders?
Pardon?
What are the sisters like with your spiders? They're not coming in your
They
room.
come in the room and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing? Feeding spiders?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, okay, bye. Keeps them out. They're not scared of them, but I mean, they even went to one of the shows and picked up one of the snails. So they've been caring for little Shelley.
Nice. Shelley.
Creative, I know.
Yeah. I like it.
But now it's like they always pop in my room, and I was like, "Jeremy, do I need to feed them yet?" I was like, "When did you feed them?" It's like, "Oh, yesterday." It's like, "No, they don't. It's a snail."
Snails. I mean, they do eat though. The snails do pack it away, don't they?
Yeah.
They do. They really go through it. But it's like they got them as dinky babies. Like, they'll put like a massive leaf of lettuce and they're like, "But does it need feeding again?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
No,
if
no,
anybody
snails.
sees any more of these around, please let me know so I can buy them all.
And when she says them all, she means them all.
I will get them all. I need different bloodlines so I can breed them.
I'll have to put up new shelves everywhere.
Oh yeah, and the idea of them not being social, that doesn't apply to this one. This one isn't really aggressive. She quite enjoys being out. She likes to pay attention and climb on different things, and her head wiggles like she's really, really paying attention to what's going on. And like I've got other mantises, and sometimes you can tell when they're not right happy with being out, but I haven't seen any of them stresses from her for being out.
Living community, is that
Let
like
my-
a safety thing in the wild so that they ensure that they've got like a constant mate, like they can find a mate easy?
No, basically, if you introduce a boy later on, they will just eat it.
They'll just see it as
They'll see it as food.
Okay, so do the babies disperse after they've laid the youths? Do they stick around it or do they? I mean, like as a colony.
Like, information on it, so the only way to find that out is to actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
The problem with Diabolica is that it's so hard to breed them in captivity. Most of the time, it's wild caught oofs that come into the hobby.
Yeah.
So it's like people will bring in oofs, hatched oofs, and then sell the babies. So it's like getting captive bred is something, again, like we are trying to achieve with the truths. It's something that should be pushed along.
Yeah.
This
Just
one
put you on big screen, Ellie, so people can
There we go.
check it out.
that's her back. Look, the camera's a bit bright now.
I think
Look how big the hematosoma I got on Sunday is. It's like it's way bigger than the female I have right now. She's huge.
Yeah, that's a tasty looking spot.
Beautiful thing. I love her.
And if you want to
As
see,
like, breeding tubs, I keep spiders in breeding tubs, but I always try to make them look a little bit more natural than just like, piece of cork slab or something like that. Chuck some leaves in, chuck some moss in there, decent sized piece of cork, just something for her to different senses and that stuff, She's massive though.
if you want to see a close up video of her, Ellie's got one on her.
I'll put it on my channel.
And it's like macro footage on her face. It's really cool.
Could somebody just drop Ellie's channel link down into the comments, please?
I will do it. I will drop the video. Hang on.
Oh, one of the boys is off to the doctor. Ellie, does the manius go for your fingers?
No, it doesn't go. It's probably the least defensive or aggressive that I've dealt with. I found the orchid mantis way more aggressive to deal with than that.
I've only had her like pinch me once, and that was because I literally both hands over the top of her, and she just like clamped onto her finger. But didn't hurt. She didn't do it like hard or anything. I just didn't want her to fall because she's a bit clumsy.
About 4 town, you really don't want to know because you don't want one. Only Ellie wants one.
It's a Madagascar hissing roach.
Is that Idiomantis diabolica? That's what it is.
If I'm correct, Mantis Deni either had them and sold them, or he's got them.
Nobody got them at the moment. I've been hunting for them for almost since I got that one. That one was a gift. I didn't even buy that one.
Literally speak to everybody at every show. Speak to Gavin when we can.
Oh, she's out. I'll show her off.
It's like his thought pattern.
She's out. Show her off tonight.
And she's just hit. Oh, no, she's still visible fairly. Oh, God. Okay. Try not to trip everything up. So I've just set her up today.
Hold on.
This is my female Hetrapoda lanula juvenile. Or, about juvenile size. Just close to sub-adult.
Very nice.
Absolutely beautiful.
I wish I'd given mine.
I want to take her out? No, because these things are rapid. The coloration on them is something else.
Cheers, Jackie.
Iridescent, aren't they?
And
Just
the iridescence on these is ridiculous. And the males, it's kind of a shame with the males that they just drop all the color once mature.
yeah. Well, it's kind of like, do you remember the film Twins? Like you had Danny DeVito and like then Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's kind of what it's like with Lanula. You got the females, and you're like, "Geez, these things are amazing."
Whoa!
And then
Massively
males,
dimorphic.
like, they're so tiny.
Yes.
And there's so much of it. Like,
Look at Trichnothelia, that big female orb weavers, and the males are these tiny things that the females probably don't even know they're there when they are.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
This is a female Denopus aspectans subadult, I believe. I don't think she's mature. She's still a bit small.
Ogre faced.
Yeah, the ogre face.
Netcast is
Well,
as well, aren't they?
Yeah, apparently they've been reclassified to Asian opus, but I really don't understand how Asian opus in Africa. Okay.
Right. Because the ones we've got here are like grey with white spots on the underside of the Pistosoma. It's like literally four little
it's
white
strange.
dots.
Like I've seen all kinds of color patterns from dark brown, light brown, almost a reddish. This girl's like a lighter coloration in comparison.
If you guys,
so it's kind of wondering if it's locality based or whether it's separate species. But again, with the imports just being, there we go, get back in there. Oh wow!
I love them. That is probably one of the only true spiders I'd actually like to have.
What is it?
It's the one, I don't know what it's called, but it has the net and it goes down
Oh,
on
the
top of it.
fishing one. That's a fishing spider.
Is it a fishing spider? It's not a fishing spider. It's like
Netcaster.
Netcaster, yeah.
Yeah, it is Spider-Man.
Okay, is there a difference between the
Spider-Man, yes.
Yeah, but the fishing spiders, Ellie, you would typically see them like by a pond with the with the legs just touching the water, and they've got hairs that makes them like water resistant, so they practically just float. And as soon as they feel something underneath, they'll dive down and grab prey. Whereas the netcasters, they'll hang upside down with the web.
Tons of them.
I think the only spider I would ever buy is ones that do the curious. because that's just adorable.
Do you know the tunnels that go like underground slightly, like the culverts and stuff like that? That's where you find tons of them in America, literally all over the walls of those. The fishing spiders.
Yeah, they're everywhere there. I'm so jealous. God, I would just go out every day and just be like cupping up Triton and looking
Oh, I had a Triton once. Oh, awesome. If you
They're
guys
beautiful
could keep
things.
spiders from only one country, not continent, just one country, where would that be?
Malaysia.
Country. Ooh.
And why? Why
I have to
Malaysia?
agree. Malaysia or Thailand.
Yeah, it's got one of the biggest diversities of spiders you got. Well, mate, honestly, like you don't realise
Everything.
how many different types
Everything.
of spider are in like
Not Uncle Dave.
the square of each jungle.
Hundreds of sporasids. So the
Crazy.
huntsmans. You've got the satenids as well. You've got jumpers at all different kinds of iridescents and sizes. You've got stuff from the Hylas giganteus to your tiny little gold and purple jumping spiders. You've got terrestrials. You've got netcasters. All kinds of stuff.
And like evolutions.
And it's like I was
taking place
talking to
right
Lee
in
on
front of our
Sunday,
eyes.
and he said on his Thailand import that he's getting an Ericidé from Thailand. I didn't even know Ericidé could live in Thailand because typically you think of Ericidé being drier species.
Yeah.
There's Ericidé coming from Thailand, so it's like, whoa.
But no.
Best believe I'm getting my hands on those.
Yeah.
Yemen.
You guys got any plans of going to Malaysia?
I would love to, but at the moment, mate, it's money.
I want to go to Thailand next year, maybe, but the thing is, I've always said to myself is if I'm going to a country where I'm going to find spy, I want to have a proper camera set up rather than just my phone.
And
But
this
I
is
want to
Thailand.
get like those good shots.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Yeah, I'd look at plane tickets the other day, and like the prices just to pop over to France are just like not even worth it.
no, thank you.
What one of my mates is his uncle and auntie are coming over with their son, just for the son's plane ticket because he's disabled. It used to be £7,000 there and back. Now it's 21.
7,000.
Just because he's completely disabled, a wheelchair, and self-reliant on his parents for everything. The insurances have gone up that much since COVID. It's now £21,000.
You want to go to Latvia? It's £13.
Really?
I mean, if there's cool spiders there, why not?
Me and Chris are on about doing it at some point in the future.
I could just imagine me landing in Latvia. Oh,
Yeah.
hi, ginger beard, fake beard, dude. Yeah, the youth hostel's this way. You've seen Hostel, haven't you?
Yeah, that's the
Eastern
Prague.
European.
Prague.
I thought that was Latvia.
No.
I remember it. I don't remember it well. All I remember is Amsterdam.
Lewis, just tilt your cap and go, ooh, ar.
Or I don't know. I don't know. Me left and me right. You can't read nor write, but you can drive a tractor.
You can drive a tractor.
Oh,
Group exhibition to Malaysia, Steve says. That could be cool.
Yes.
My manager's just gone to Thailand. I told her to fill up her handbag.
Oops, how did that get in there?
Where'd that come from? I went in the jungle with my handbag and I didn't check it since. Sorry.
Oh, then why are they all in like little plastic bottles? Don't worry about it.
Mark, no
I'll drink
worries.
a lot
Cheers,
of
Mark.
juice.
Hi,
They're
Victoria.
my pills.
There's a little green one still up.
I always find it so hilarious. It's like that one guy from Mexico who had Gila monsters strapped to his legs. Why?
Really?
Did you hear about that? Oh my God. It was the funniest story I've ever read in my life. So a guy got pulled over because they noticed twitching in his clothing. They took off his clothes. They had all kinds of stuff strapped to him. He had tarantulas in bottles strapped to him. He had the 2 Gila monsters on his thighs. It's ridiculous the amount of stuff he strapped to himself. And bear in mind, the Gila monster is not in a bag. It's just on his leg, taped.
You happy to see me, sir?
Oh, what's that dangling down? Is that dinner?
It's like, ooh, yeah, they're egg eaters. Why would you have them in your breath? I mean, some people.
Let's just say
honestly.
he had some balls.
Yeah,
Phil
had.
was telling us
Whether they're
about,
still there.
the bloke who smuggled turtles up his butt.
I've heard about hamsters.
No.
Oh wow!
Oh no!
Could you imagine it? Warm in here, but it don't half stink.
It's a bit moist in here.
Lovely word that is.
I'm not offended by the word moist.
It's a frequent word used here, Carl.
Yeah, I always say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
moist.
Sorry,
Moist
but
is
nobody
used.
would like a dry cake, would you know? You definitely want a moist cake. It's not a word
Yeah.
you really want to avoid.
It's one of those words you drop, isn't it, to like work out someone's character. It's like, I really want a piece of moist cake, and you stare at them, and they're like, moist. Me and you will never be friends. Just gonna say it.
Yeah, but Carl, you can't really stare dead in the eyes and say moist. You're the creepy one.
I think I have
They're like
nightmares.
twitching, like.
Needs a group trip to Hammerby. So many species of trees available there. It's getting them back, isn't it?
I've had friends in Germany sending me photos of all the cheap Nutria on the tables. I'm just like, I want them.
That's
you
the
get
good
these
thing,
really
though.
big size slings, and they're like only 6 euros a piece. And I'm like, oh my god.
That is the good thing with Brexit. You know, you can't just get spiders from Europe now, because before Brexit, you could get spiders, not a problem. Oh yeah, with a free DWA scorpion in there, or a free WA spider. It's like, great, another one.
Again,
another
how
one for
did
the
that
pet
get
shop.
in now?
Another one for a pet shop.
You're missing a trick. So what you want to do is you want to go to Germany, but you want to go fishing in Germany. So you get the ferry with all your fishing tackle.
Is this some Urban Dictionary terminology going on here? Or?
No, you go fishing because then you've got all of your luggage. Yeah. Go to Ham, go get loads of spiders, put them in your fishing tackle, and drive back.
They got him when I went fishing, mate.
The problem is, one of those people that do the checks was like, do you know, I was watching this video on YouTube, mate, and they said about like checking tackle boxes. I'll go across, and I'll be like, apparently this works.
Hey, I've got a lead pouch there, an X-ray and that.
Apparently, Jennifer hates the word moist, so if we could all just say it one more time, that'd be fantastic.
Moist.
Tron says Malaysia where one of the biggest and most venomous centipede lives. Which one's that?
Probably
Which one are you thinking about?
Either Dahani or Subspinipes, toxicity-wise. I'd lean more towards Subspinipes.
That's another joke from a couple of years ago. Let's sell Dahani as Subspinipes.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people can mix them up though. Like, this is the size difference, first of all.
Well, it's the first centipede I bought because I was shite scared of them. I was like, right, I'll get one for my first BTS, and I did. And the guy was like, yeah, it's Subspinipes, blah, 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 blah. And it was the first time I spoke to Tony, and Tony just like, instead of whacking it on my Facebook post thing, he quietly inboxed me and said, you know, that's actually a Dahani. So you might want to change its requirements. I need this, that, t'other. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a shame. I've not seen Subspinipes for a long while now, and I've always wanted to grab one. It's like my buddy Ryan, he came with me to the Sea Show, and one of the guys had a Subspinipes on the table. Fortunately, it was dead.
Oh.
But yeah, he only realised when he shook the tub, and the centipede just went. It's like, well, that thing's not alive.
Did he pick it up and shake the tub like, it's dead?
No, because he looked at it and he was telling me, because we wandered off from each other and he came up to me. I was like, oh, dude, where's the Subspinipes? He's like, oh, it was dead. I was like, how'd you realise it was dead? I was looking in the tub when I walked away from the table. He was going towards Mitch, and he's like, the legs were like curled in. You know, like, have you ever seen like a dead centipede where the legs just like curl in a little bit, but they still kind of look alive? So he like tilted the tub a little bit, and the centipede just went Just flopped on its back, and I'm like, oh, yeah,
I've got
that's
train
dead.
then. It rolls over, plays dead.
Yeah, Tron says
Luckily, it was all sorted
centipede.
out, and he got his money back and all that. But still, it's a shame because you never see subspinnipedes, well, true subspinnipedes anymore.
Is there a lot of morphs going on with the jumping spiders?
I think there's a lot of messing about, isn't there? Some people are for it and some people aren't.
It's more
I know
locality.
it's one of those dodgy conversations. And yes, I'm
Yeah.
going to ask you both what you think of it.
I don't mind, mate.
Yeah, we're happy to answer anything, man.
Go on then.
The whole thing with jumping spiders is literally like it's localities. So they're all the same species, but found in different areas. So they've evolved over years to have different patternings and stuff like that. Now, people would assume they're morphs, and because they're the same species, they can't interbreed. But the problem with that is that you're muddying up bloodlines for later on down the line. So you could just breed let's say you get a Bahama and a Sorora, for example, cross them together, sell them on. As slings, you can't tell how they're going to mature out. And, if you get the average breed and they don't know what's going on, they just pair that up with a pure Bahama or a pure Sorora. Because you could just label them as, oh, these are Sorora, these are Bahama. It's just a mess. It mixes up the bloodlines, and it just, the colors can look cool, but it's not worth it because we're going to lose. What if they just stop exploiting them? Then we can't get any more fresh bloodlines in. Then we can't breed anymore. So it's a similar problem with the pokies, right? With like Vittata, Formosa, stuff like that, right? It's like similar looking, but you mix them up. It's riskier in the future. Yeah, you could do it now, but think about 2-3 years down the line.
Genetically faulted spiders that people are, selling on as captive bred, and they've got a whole host of problems. Not being able to breed.
Yeah, these are pure Bahama, and you just let them mature. It's like, oh, Bahamas are not supposed to have blue. I didn't think Bahamas were orange.
I think he's trying to always keep things pure. So, there was a time I didn't quite understand it in the beginning when I'd sort of read about this, because you don't really get it with the spiders that I'm sort of working with. Wolf spiders, there's a lot of overlapping and there's a lot of variances in colours. With like Miami, there's so many different types that I've seen, and I've incorrectly ID'd Carolinensis as Miami before just from a bad photo, not realizing there was such a range in different colors. But with jumping spiders, it really does seem to be that because they spend quite a lot of their life living in an area, don't they? So you get that almost not interbreeding as such, but similar. So you get those patterns that generate for that area. I do think taking those out of the wild and then mixing the colors up, you're kind of removing the natural beauty from it. You're having something that nature has specifically selected for a reason. Remember, a lot of these colors come because evolutionary traits, like one spider will be much better than another and produce. So I think keep things natural, man. Definitely. Otherwise, we're going to end up with like spiders with the exoskeletons on the inside, like you've kind of got like scaleless snakes. That is
yeah.
It's like a condom. It just doesn't feel right.
We might make a spider that bit Spider-Man and like a big Spider-Man.
That's a horrible.
You practically are Spider-Man. We missed you at sea, dude.
Lewis, you're going Taunton, aren't you?
Yeah.
Are you taking the Spider-Man outfit?
I have just fixed the mask.
So if Lewis goes to Taunton in the Spider-Man outfit, he is literally the best dressed Spider-Man that I have ever seen at any of the shows. The one at Seas was just useless. He'd come up to me going, "Oh, what spider's that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's mature male chromatas." "Oh, what's that then?" "I don't keep any spiders." I nearly said, "Fuck off, get out of my face then." I've come here to buy spiders and speak to spider geeks, not to find somebody dressed up as a spider that knows nothing about spiders.
Hey.
And his whole suit is made by Lewis.
Really?
Yeah, it's incredible, mate. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, mate, that is sick.
You've made that.
I just had to put a new zip on it.
Yeah, he made the whole lot. It's amazing. In person, it's even better.
Jeez, dude.
Wow. I
thought
didn't
that
realise
was
that,
like
dude.
just a
That's
really
amazing.
high-end mask that was brought.
A high quality
Lewis
one,
is-
yeah.
Yeah.
Lewis is just. Lewis is a very clever guy. Very clever man.
Whew.
That's impressive, dude.
Yeah, then
Really.
you had the C
Yeah.
Spider-Man. His eyes were like down to his cheeks.
Nose coming out the forehead, like,
Spider-Man at Steve's was literally trying to do the Spider-Man poses, but it it's like me pretending to be a skinny guy. It's just not going to work. Lewis can run up walls, backflip, front, then do a front somersault, and then do like the superhero landing. He can do all that shit. You know what I mean?
I've still not finished it.
Let's see it.
I've still not finished doing the legs, so I still have to wear a pair of jogging bottoms. Otherwise, it just looks stupid.
Jackson says, honestly, I'm wondering about the guy at the shows over. This is over in the USA. That I usually get my tarantulas from. 4 of them have come down with DKS over the last 18 months. Use somebody else. There is a US shop that's contacted me to see if he can do a discount for the guys that watch this channel over in the USA. So he might be an alternative for you, maybe.
There's strong suggestions though that DKS is due to chemicals of some kind.
Chemicals in the soil, yeah, or being sprayed into the atmosphere.
Exactly.
Whether it's just been previously the way they've been cared for prior has just affected them in the long run. It's kind of a tough
Some
thing.
chemicals take a long time to actually cause an issue, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Almost absorbed and it's delayed.
Does anybody live in Oxford?
I used to.
Ellie needs to find somebody who lives in Oxford.
Does she need something picking up?
Potentially, yeah.
Is there anybody watching that lives in Oxford that's going to one of the shows, preferably Taunton because it's the closest?
That dog is so goddamn noisy.
Oh, good. I know Dad's used to live in Oxford. He used to live up Whitney, right next to Linear. I don't know where he lives now. My baths are fine. I'm still waiting for him to see if he can drop an also. We've got 3 of them paired.
How many of you guys in chat keep the true spiders? So any spiders other than tarantulas? And how many of you have got like that one house spider that you feed regular?
I got those.
It's a given, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I think a lot of us had that.
And America's house spiders are the Latrodectus. I'm like, jealous. Not jealous at all. Just being able to find stuff like we'd pay money for over here in their backyard.
You chat to Spider Mum about it. She's over in America, and it's just like a normal thing. You find one in your shoe, you get rid of it, you carry on. I'm like, oh, panicking. And she's like, what?
I pay good money for that.
What?
It's like in the Philippines, in my house. Like we've got, the green tree weaver ants, the ones that like weave the leaves together and make a nest. So we've got loads of those everywhere. Like right by my house, I have a mango tree, and it's always got nests all over the place. And I'm looking up there, and I didn't realize at the time I haven't been in like 7 years. I'm just looking there. It's like I'm just thinking back now. It's like I could have bought queens back and sold them for 120 quid. People would have bought them. Obviously, you can't export stuff out of the Philippines, but if I was in like Thailand or something, people would happily pay for a mated queen £120. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Lowest 80. And like, it's crazy what kind of species you find.
I do love ants.
What was that?
I love ants, but I'd never keep them, but I do love them. I like watching Ants Canada, and I know it's not got the best. I don't know why, but everybody I talk to, I say Ants Canada, and they go, "Oh, him," and I'm like, "What's wrong with him?"
It's because he kept that pokey communal. As soon as a YouTuber, we all know it. As soon as you do one thing wrong, that's it.
Yeah.
Or one thing controversial, that's it.
Ants Canada.
It's the ant people that don't like him. That's what I'm like.
That says something, though.
But I don't know.
He does the Philippines proud. He's like tenfold better than exotics there.
Craig, I just phoned the wife because there's a 5-hour wait down at the walking centre for him to see our baby, but he's got in as an emergency, luckily. Oh, cheers, Tron. Night, dude. Take care.
Night, Tron.
Take care.
Take care, buddy. Yeah, I love watching him. He's just done
pick up some more red fang wandering spiders at Taunton.
Termite colony as well. That's fascinating as well. How they produced
that was incredible. It's ongoing that he's doing.
Type of mycelium.
First ever.
And the first ever in captivity, yeah. But they produced their own mycelium that can't be produced in any other way but through termites. I thought that was just absolutely amazing.
I might have acquired new ants at Seas, but I can't tell you about them yet. Probably not for another month or two. And I really want to.
I got some of the jumping ones that you got, Scott.
The Venator.
They are crazy. Yeah, seeing them jump. Oh my god! Like I opened the lid. I'm like shit.
These other ones they can jump, and their venom's a little bit stronger than the Venator.
Yeah, so I was just like, oh shit, tweezers, pick you up, put you back in the tub.
If you are interested in ant antics, put Scott's invert 23 in. That gets you 5% off. And Richard over there is pretty cool. Looking at the chat again, if you haven't already, please like the stream. We're never doing something right. Yeah, you can't really comment that though. Are you guys expecting any more deliveries of any true spiders or?
I think my next order is going to be from Europe because there's some spiders over there that I can't get over here. So I'm sort of holding out, really. I think I'm just going to do one big order.
Scott, did you see the Atlas ant that Ants HQ had for 545 for a queen, but it was massive? Steve, if you watched the video, you would have seen it on there. But the problem with those is getting them to actually produce the workers. I think it was Jeremy mentioned it on Sunday, and then Happy Ant also said that getting them to produce the actual workers is the issue. Didn't you?
Yeah, the Dynamormex gigas.
The neutral flights as well. The queens literally go for miles in all directions. So
miles on end. Like one colony, like their queens can be found miles between each other. So it's the problem with the collectors. It's like, you'll go to collect in one area. You could find 10, you could find none. But that's why the price is so expensive, because their nuptial flight isn't yearly as well, I believe. I think it's like every few years. So when you get some, you get some. It's labeled as Camponotus gigas on here, but this is a Dynamormex worker. You can see, like, wow. It's a big worker.
The queen. I
need to get this relabeled. Queen is double the size. So if you think about it, like, ginormous ants.
That's super major.
No, that's just a normal worker.
Really?
Super majors are bigger. Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, I was concentrating on what Eddie was writing on the phone. What breed of I don't know, you've not breed, genus of ants in it?
The Dynamormex gigas.
If you can see that. What am I doing? I press the wrong one.
See, like for me, if I was to get a Dynamormex colony, I would want to get one with workers just in case, because you could raise the queen, get the workers, and then out of the pupa, if it's not been fertilized properly, it'll be males. It'll be kings.
That's... Ooh. I'm pressing the wrong one here. Bear with.
Old people in technology, eh?
There's a queen. So you can see it,
Ginormous
you can see the size. Yeah, that was from the show on Sunday. But £500 just to have a
I
queen.
would wait until at least they have the workers. If you have the first workers, that's it. You're sorted. But you could wait months and months for those workers to hatch out the pupa, and you see a king with wings. It's the worst thing.
Yeah, because that means she's infertile.
And it's just like, a week's worth of work. Gone for an infertile queen. No. Hey, you could sell it pinned for like £1,000, but
Where was that, Susan? Because I can't
there's
find
spider
it.
mail tomorrow. I've got a couple bits coming tomorrow. I've got a group of more Dinopus coming in from Jumping Spiders London. And I've got 3 the spitting spiders, the Scatodes ornatus, I think it is.
Ah,
Got 3 of those coming tomorrow.
that's Susan's in chat.
Oh wow, look at that. Was that Scatoda?
It's UK spider, yeah, Stratoda.
Funky looking, it's orange.
With almost like a skull on its bum.
Oh, I love that. Look at that.
Oh, that's mental.
That is really cool.
If Bailey's in chat, he might be able to give you a species.
UK does have some seriously cool spiders though. Like people think, we've just got the Hetrapoda Statoda. No, we've got a really, really beautiful looking Dolomides species. Stunning.
Some of the rarest in
Which,
the world,
by the way, Invert shows. I believe Invert shows UK's charities towards conservation of the Dolomides this time around, isn't it?
Is it not the Save the Bees again?
No, they've changed the charity this time. I believe they're doing it towards the Dolomides conservation, which is great because we have only one species and the species is vanishing. So to have, so to have a charity working with them is great. And then we have a wolf spider species, which is fairly big as well. It's very beautiful. So, we've got some cool species, not as cool as other countries, I must admit.
Well, I think it's the size. It's the sheer size of them.
The grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it?
Of
Well,
course. Yes, of course. It's like,
Yeah.
Like, we get the most variety of species, apart from Europe, but like, God, imagine just walking out and just finding a David Bowie just chilling on your plants. I'm like, what?
Stephen says, can we say
it's
it's gig ant tick? Exactly.
No, a lot of our spiders over here are seasonal, aren't they? Like they're very short-lived, most of them.
Yeah, like with the Iranius, the garden orb weavers, and then Heratogena, Statoda.
The garden orb weavers, though, with that summer dew, when you go outside and across all the fences, you see all the webs, and there it is, sat in the middle.
I've been bit by.
Oh, I love it. I walk in my garden with a pot of crickets going like, how many have we got this year?
Never been bit by a tarantula, but garden the orb weavers. Them things are evil.
Layla was.
God, it jumped off its web. I put my hand it was on the aviary, and I put my hand on the aviary chain link, and it come off the wood. The web weren't even attached to where my hand was, so it must have jumped right onto my hand, bit my hand, and then jumped on the floor. I was like, and it was like,
It just did a kamikaze on you. Like,
And then and at that point in Lewis's life, that's when he started making the Spider-Man outfit. I was expecting the call from Iron Man.
My life changed forever.
Early moments. Must be my spider powers coming through.
I think it is, Susan. I think it's one of the false widows.
it's not working. Try it every day.
Yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow. I've got like got, I think it's 6 or 7 of the Dinopus. A couple adult females, a mature male, and some
Oh,
juveniles.
nice one.
And then the spitting spiders. Today I had the
Pelican
Viridaceus
as
come
well.
in, the Madagascar fishing spider, sex pair of Hetrapoda delula, and then a Megalomorph, which is the Fufius species gold female. From Stephen, if you're still around, dude. Again, thank you so much. Can't wait for that male to mature. My female is like, she's huge.
He's got an incredible
Is she out?
collection
I
as well,
I
isn't he?
doubt it.
Yeah, he's
It's
mate,
crazy,
got
some
so
of the
much
stuff he
now.
has.
Yeah, he's got a massive passion with fish. He's like a bloody fish expert. Like he's had fish in his life for like 20 odd years. And I think that's where the passion sort of rolled over, because I always said to him, I was like, you're very, very good at saying scientific names. And I'm there like, Ellie, how would you say this? Because she does phonics. So my daughter was actually better at saying the Latin names and on a lot of the stuff than me.
That's the thing, though, with Latin
She's a
names. As
shit
long as the
class.
person knows what spider you're on about, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that's it, exactly. Everyone's got so many different ways of pronouncing stuff.
There we go. Trying to get the light out of the way.
There,
She's out.
I can see it. The thing is, she blends in so well with that wood. The light kind of
Kind of
makes
hard to see her.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that she's shat all over the glass. And this is one thing, guys. If you keep Huntsman, expect this.
Yeah.
You can have a display enclosure or a breeding tub. They'll just shit, and you can't see them half the time. So.
Yeah. It's like a curtain of just.
But yeah, she's beautiful, and she's really like big as well. So I'm hoping she's starting to produce eggs. The male looks close to maturing, so touch wood,
philosophy, man.
everything works out, and I get to
Philosophy.
breed some Lanulas because they're my favorite of the Hetrapoda genus. So,
Oh, nice one, Jack.
with David Bowie in a close second.
Yeah.
Jackson's just upgraded his membership from level 1 to level 2. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that.
It's a lot wide open.
I've got one that's getting a bit fat now. I'm waiting for her to she's actually put a lot of size, but she's just doing nothing. This is another one who's gone dormant. But she's completely calm.
I find out the Sparassas do go dormant for a while. The larger ones, they just don't do anything. They stay in one spot, and then all of a sudden you just see them pooping out an egg sac.
Yeah.
See, that was I think that was the second true spider I got, and back then it was like, oh yeah, if you touch it, it will disappear, and you got to be really careful. Blah 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 blah. I had hard enough time just trying to get it out the actual pot it came in, and then it just chilled.
Yeah,
Absolute chilled.
it was like today when I was trying to rehouse my two Lanulas. Like they were on the tissue. When I sent the picture to the group chat, Scott, of the female, she just sat there, just didn't move. I put her in the tub. Still didn't move. I poked her a few times to get her off the tissue. Still refused to move. So I had to push her with the tongs just to get her off the tissue. I was like, "Come on, you got a new house. There you go." And she's just so like, "Leave me alone." Because
I haven't been in the group chat much
it's like
today,
they
'cause-
depend on their camouflage. So if they move, obviously it's a last resort. If they know they're going to get eaten. If they get poked and prodded by something happening to walk by them on the stick or the branch or leaf or whatever, they'll just sit still if they're not hungry.
Crazy,
I'll be
isn't
honest
it?
with you, though, I don't think that's very well camouflaged. A bright orange spider on a bright green leaf.
No, with the orange now, it has been proven with
No, I know.
some species, when they see orange, it's green.
Yeah, it's blind.
So-
a little bit like red light.
But
Yeah.
but is it saying to predators, if you eat me, I'm poisonous. If you come near me, I'm venomous.
Might be, dude. Might be. There's a lot of keepers that seem to think that this is the most venomous spider in their entire collection, and they certainly
David
are.
Bowie's. No,
They're like puppy dogs.
definitely not.
I've seen it with so many people though. It's not like the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes back to
Raising
the
slings is
discussion.
annoying though.
That goes back to the discussions with the red fangs being the most venomous, because when they bite prey, the prey dies. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what the venom is designed to do on a prey item this big.
That Dubia was fighting that male for about 5 minutes, and he was still twitching and practically active. So it just shows is
Maybe
the
not.
venom really as bad as people are saying?
The thing is, you've also got to remember that they can control, because this was from what I've read, like people, I've always assumed this was the case. Okay, that they could control the amount of venom that they injected, but I'd read that there were quite a lot that just assumed that when they bite, they instantly inject. But venom's like a really precious commodity that takes a long time to build up. So 9 times out of 10, just a quick bite with no venom is what a lot of spiders do.
But like I said, one, it takes a long time to produce and it's energy expanding. 2, if that's your only weapon and you inject it all into the prey and then a predator comes along, you're left with nothing. So that they can't be injecting it fully every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you really think about it, all venom is a really, I'm going to say non-science, it's just a really spicy protein. That's all it really is, venom. It's just spicy protein. So it's like, to get that protein, if you think how many meals they will have to eat, and considering in the wild they're inconsistently getting meals, it's like it's so precious to them. Like, why waste it?
Speaking of Steve,
it's truly a last resort.
Is an
nice
species
fingers
laid
crossed it's fertile, dude.
Good luck, man.
Good luck. That'll be a
his floweries are bred, haven't they? They've actually
God,
so like he's been waiting for this.
A bit gutted. I missed him on Sunday. I don't know how, but I did. He's well. Oh, hold on, my wife's just phoning from doctors.
Oh, he was there on Sunday.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Last time I spoke to him, I know that he was battling this virus. Bless him. So
yeah. I hope he's doing all right now, Stephen. If you're still, you're around. I hope you're doing better, dude.
Yeah. So do I, man. So as soon as he gets over it, he can. Because I said to him, one thing we were talking about ages ago was doing like a podcast, but picking a species and then getting a few people that actually sort of like chatting and just doing like a 2-hour thing on certain subjects. And obviously where he's been so poorly, it's just been sort of pushed off really.
Hard to do so, yeah.
Wow, mate. I know.
I mean, hey, look at us when we chatted on the phone. God, that was like what, 3-4 hours?
Yeah, and that was with no subject or topic. That was just like waffling on about.
We were bouncing off topics for ages. It was great. I loved it.
But no, I think it'd be really interesting, mate. But yeah, it's be really good to sort of get him involved.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get more varied species podcasts as well, because with animal podcasts in general, you get like the reptile stuff, then you get the tarantulas, and then you get the occasional special guest where they talk about shrews. And I think the only 2 podcasts I've heard was one recent one with Tom Moran where they were talking. One podcast group were talking to Tom Moran, and then it was Richard's one where he did the live thing from the Fear Not opening, and he talked to Frank Somer and Tom on the same day.
Yeah.
And that's it. I know that's it. So True Spider Podcast, we need more. So if you guys think it's a good idea, join Carl's group, spam we need a podcast, and we'll get everyone together. We'll make it.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to get more information out there because there's loads of stuff that I don't keep and I don't know about. I'm one of these. I've found a couple of families that I like, and there's that many spiders out there. It's impossible to learn all of them. So I'm learning the ones that I've got and working with it. So
Steve's made a point. I didn't even think about this, and it makes 100% sense. He says for a spider injecting venom into a predator, it's a waste of time because it won't have any effect in enough time. So basically, if the spider would be to bite you, you can still kill it.
Yeah.
I suppose that's why most of them just prefer to run off.
The thing is, it's like funnel webs. Like funnel webs make me laugh because growing up, I know nothing about funnel webs. This is simply from videos I've seen. But the one common thing with them is actually when they're in their natural habitat and they're not wandering around looking for a mate, they're really, really reclusive, shy spiders. So you disturb their web and the first thing they do is hide.
Yeah.
Not what you get when you see the photos of them, almost fold themselves in half, double back and fangs right up, and them sort of just twitching all over the place, freaking out. It's just like everything in it. They give there's lots of things that get a bad rep, and people say, there's been loads of bites, but actually, how many deaths have been contributed? I think recorded, actually tested. I think there's only like sort of 30 to 40 species of spider where they go that categorically is dangerous and will affect your life. There's 50,000 species of spider, and
they reckon
which ones are going to bite you.
They reckon there's over 160,000 species of spider described and undescribed across the world.
Yeah,
and that is also discovered
and it's gonna result in like how many of those are big enough to actually bite you, and then how many can actually pierce skin if they do bite you.
Well, if you look at I know it's a different animal altogether, but like if you look at a king cobra, you know, it's only so dangerous because of the amount of volume of venom it can actually hold.
It's a venom overload.
And it basically just injects you and injects you and injects you. Yeah, and overloads your system with the amount of venom it puts into your body.
It just hijacks the system, overloads it, yeah.
Yeah, but
Nameless Collector was on about tarantula breeding for the first time. I'd probably go for curly hairs, mate. I think Steve mentioned LPs have thousands of babies. Curly hairs, and make sure you got somebody that can buy them all off you or take them all off you once you're successful.
True curly hairs, no hobby forms.
They're quite hard to find now, aren't they?
Don't get me started on hobby forms, because people kind of saying, oh yeah, this spider won't breed with that spider because they're not from the same place, they're not this, they're not that. You know, they're not the same species and this, that, and so on. It's like, okay, tell me where hobby form curly hairs came from then, please.
Yeah.
Same thing with the jumping spiders. I've seen all kinds of things being posted on Facebook, hybridized Otiosis and Regus mixes, and what's the other one? Audax, that they mixing Audax, and it's like, yeah, they're not same species, but they can do so, and doing so is no benefit to the hobby whatsoever.
Check this. The Minax is obviously larger than Von Worthy. The Von Worthy's got its stripes, but they are considering whether the Von Worthy is another locality to the Minax. That comes straight from a taxonomist. He said it's going to have to go into blood work. Check that.
Check it, yeah. Genetics and stuff like that.
And those spiders have been around a good long time.
Yeah.
So if you think about that,
the whole issue with like
over the weekend.
It's the whole issue with like Quagga and Pulcra. They look so similar.
Quagga and Rosea.
Yeah, they don't breed with each other, thank God. Yeah. And well, now they're all Rosea, so it's like,
that's not going to be good. I will never label my Porteri as a Rosea.
I don't think most of us aren't.
I won't do it.
I had a Rosea years ago, but I sold it.
I would be interested though, Lewis. I would be really interested to see your Porteri when it molts.
My Porteri has molted. It looks nothing like a Rosea.
Still none of the colours come on.
No, she's grey. her character.
Well, according to them now, it's Rosea no colour form.
Yeah.
Then they're going to swap it back to its own species again.
Coppery, reddy sort of colour to it, but the rest of it's still grey. Well, get her out.
But hey ho, at the end of the day, at least tarantulas are actually being studied, where we get all kinds of truths come in with everything that's blue being labelled as from Rhacoctonus kingsleyi, and it's like, these are
leg.
probably.
Got to be this.
It makes it very difficult for like us that do like YouTube a lot to actually do a proper care video on a specific true spider, because we could go to do it, and without myself knowing, it might not be what it was stated when it was sold to me.
Exactly.
That's
like
why I don't do
hematosoma being labelled as CF, so like assuming as hematosoma. Talking to a lot of people who worked with them over the years and seen other different kind of species and where they're collected, etc. I myself personally can say confidently that every single Peloptonus CF hematosoma are hematosoma, because there are other Peloptonus species in near areas, but you know they have different colorations, where it's like a red carapace or a yellow abdomen, look completely different from hematosoma. So every single hematosoma coming in, I can confidently say.
That reddy sort of to it, but the rest of that is grey.
Well, it's still Rosea no colour form.
I don't know.
I don't know. Looks like an LP to me. Or an
Chris has got
You've
Rosea.
literally just loaded it for the comments there.
Yeah, with Chris's
How
Rosea,
dare
right?
you?
It's like bright red.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Hence the name.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like with the Hematosoma. I can confidently say that every single one in the country and comes in on the imports are Hematosoma and not another species. Just because you don't really, so I've kept multiple specimens and I've never seen any variation from the colorations. And looking at other species of Piloctonus, where it's like different face coloration, different size, stature, shades of coloration, just they're all Hematosoma. Just confidently saying. Watch next week, the new import will come in and be like, "Oh yeah, these are Hematosoma." Like, no, they're not.
Paper will come out. It's like none of them are. What they are is something.
They're like, none of them are Hematosoma.
different.
They're actually so and so. I'm like, ah.
The scorpion video I did a while ago, species Sumatra. Yes, it is from Sumatra. But when you talk to the guys that know about the scorpions, they're like, you really have to be counting and going like looking at their sex organs to make sure what species it is. I've been told it probably already is described. It's just nobody can be asked to actually check it correctly.
Yeah.
I was like,
Actually check which specific
I think
one
it's
it
almost
is. Yeah,
worse for
well, it's just you just take a seller's like
yeah.
for it.
Because at least with the trues, you can look at the males, and even when growing up, you can see coloration differences. But
Yeah,
scorpions,
yeah.
you got to count individual hairs, and
When it
Ugh.
comes to
Amazing, like,
correctly identifying spiders, it's Portsmouth and Spa spiders always.
100%.
But when it comes to
was like, yeah.
selling through spiders, Jeremy, this is where you're going to come into a world of your own, really, because you're going to be the one, and Stephen, you guys are going to be the ones that are going, this is actually correctly labelled.
Yeah, and I'm always trying to do my best. And like, I don't know if you noticed on me stand, like I have a little picture frame where I have all the, the points 1.0, 0.0, 0.1, so differentiating from male, female, and unsexed. Then I also have the CB, CBB, and WC, so differentiating from captive bred, captive born, and wild caught. So I'll always honestly label,
because that wild caught but captive born kind of spurred from what you guys really, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just like so with CBB, so captive born. Essentially, what it is so let's say I've got my Piloctonus hematosoma come in. She's already gravid. She produces an egg sac and no slings hatch in captivity. So that's what, for me, I would call them as captive born, because they were born in captivity, but they came from a wild caught female. Then what would happen was what I'm currently trying to do right now with about 100 or plus of the hematosomas behind me here is raise them to adulthood, get those paired up, and then from those they'll be captive bred. As a captive born specimen, being in the hobby, breeding them, they're the captive bred ones from a captive born line, and then the next generation will be purely captive bred from a captive bred specimen.
It'd be nice to be able to work out how many what's the word, generations it is. So is it captive bred 1 or captive bred 2? You would know which generation, whether it was first generation, second, because inherently it'd be nice to know whether in 10 generations have we created weaker spiders? Because
this is the thing, because if we had paperwork to say this is the male's wild caught, the female was wild caught, therefore the babies would be F1, their babies would be F2, like they do with fish, it'd be a hell of a lot easier. But the only way we can do that currently is by the breeders chatting to each other. That's literally the only way we can do it, and then you guys know. But even if somebody's got a spider and they say, "I've got that from Steve," or "I got that from Carl," "I got it from Jeremy."
Guys, we're going.
Night both. Take care.
Take care, guys.
With
my Dolomides, I've had 2 wild caught females produce sacs, and from those I've labeled them D1, D2. So D1 being the first female to drop the sac, D2 obviously second female to drop the sac as well. So making sure I'm labeling them properly ensures that 1, I'm not mixing bloodlines too much, and 2, I know that these 2, let's say like I have females mature quicker from D1, and then I have males from D2, I can safely say I can pair these together with no genetic issues down the line.
Exactly.
With, for example, like stunted growth or, not molting issues, whatever it may be. I can confidently say, like, look, these have come from these bloodlines I've got in.
100% do. I
And
think
what we're
especially
kind of blessed with wild caught specimens at the moment is we're working with completely fresh bloodlines. Unlike with tarantulas, they've been brought on from wild caught lines from decades ago. So we're blessed that we get fresh genes to work with, and it's quite I think it's a very underrated thing with the true spiders at the moment, getting the fresh bloodlines in.
This I think this is quite important. Steve, the problem is general public buying spiders wouldn't bother remembering the F1, F2 labels, but if they said, Jeremy, I've got this male, I need a female, you could go, well, who did you get it from? And then if you guys are talking, you guys might know roughly if it's F1, F2, F3.
We can ensure that siblings aren't being bred together if we can avoid it. And stuff like that. Yeah.
You can avoid it as much as possible because it's obviously going to happen at some point.
Well,
more with true spiders.
You should know the generation, because also it's the fact it's not just the fact that we can go, oh, this is I don't know, X, this is blah blah blah, and it is 10 generations old, but it's also looking at those slings. Is there a genetic trait from breeding those over multiple generations that has actually caused a weaker spider? Because this is the problem when you get 200 spiders and you go, right, I'm money orientated, I'm going to raise every single one to sell. Most of those won't make it to adulthood. Whatever anybody says, most of them, they are not designed through natural selection to reach adulthood. Not all of them. In captivity, we give them a damn sight better chance because they've not got environmental factors to worry about apart from our stupidity. They haven't got any predators to worry about. So we potentially have the ability to raise up genes in spiders that shouldn't be passed on. Mother Nature would have gone, you would have died in the wild. You wouldn't have continued. So with us breeding, we have to be careful that we're not creating almost like an evolutionary backstep where we've now got different spiders in captivity to in the wild.
You can see it in humans because I am that evolutionary backstep.
Yes, am I, mate?
Aren't we all? Aren't we
mess
all?
up.
I am the mess up. Erin, it's not open mic night. Sorry, dude.
But yeah,
I'm just getting my tubs out to just carry on from Carl's point of not allowing weaker genes to grow up. So what I've done raising slings is I've been keeping them together from hatching to current. So this is my second egg sac of Peloptinus hematosoma currently growing. As
if
you
there's
see,
any
they're all
females
still
out
kind of
there,
tiny. They're only about.
Spiders, Jeremy is single.
Hey ho, still looking.
Just saying. Pimping you out, dude. Pimping you out.
Would be nice.
Your drums yet, sir?
Yeah, I'm always tapping my drums, seeing if anything's nearby, but no luck yet.
Do it on the window.
So it's like,
Do it on the window.
Carl was saying, with the egg sac, I popped the egg sac in here. I've raised the slings together. Could I have separated them as soon as they left the egg sac? Yes, but as Carl said, a lot of those genes could be raised to produce weaker spiders, stunted males, smaller females in the future. So what I've done is I've kept them all together. I had probably about 100 or so in this tub at the beginning. Probably now there's maybe 60 odd. And that will dwindle down. And then the first egg that she produced, I've only got like 25 or 30 that I'm growing on at the moment. And these spiders have been growing up really big, really quick. And I've noticed differences in separation and keeping them together. Me and Carl have discussed this on calls before, where we're probably thinking like keeping them together triggers that need for survival. So they're eating more, they're growing quicker. They're growing
the strongest and the fittest survive.
Those good genes. So the stronger ones get a feed, the weaker ones get dwindled out. It's often done in fish culling, goldfish, for example, culling all the way down from thousands of eggs to a few goldfish that are ready for sale.
It's massively done in the fish world. It's more so with koi.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, doing this. Yes, I could have sold hundreds of slings, but I would much rather be selling genetically healthy, stronger slings that would therefore last longer in someone's care. Because I want people to enjoy the trees as much as I do. That's the whole reason I'm doing this as well, is because they get a bad rep. I want people to enjoy them. They're not all these quick and speedy, dangerous monsters that they're made out to be. They're enjoyable, very enjoyable, and different kinds of hunting patterns, net casting, spitting, fishing.
I think that's something that the tarantula breeders could really do, because we get a lot of tiny slings that die.
Mm-hmm.
And you've already spent the money where really they should be growing up a bit further. Then you've got that natural selection process has already took its toll.
Yeah. I certainly
100%
think
agree.
by keeping it together, like as it does, it almost creates that drive for survival. But I've had 200 babies where you separated them all from birth, and I've had nearly all of them die because it's if you try and separate all these slings, unless you've got huge amounts of time, you're never really going to give them the needed care they need to be able to open every single one and feed them. Especially if you've got a female producing 2 or 3 sacks over her life, or 4 or 5 in some cases. You could easily end up with 1,000 spiders from one female. But raising them communally, I certainly think gives you big, healthy spiders at the end of it. And doing it that way, most of the babies that I've got are growing absolutely perfect. I've got them to adulthood. Some have been rebred. So, it seems to work.
Just for the chat, the whole reptile morph, that is a different conversation for a different channel, to be honest. Osman, those just earlier from Carl Wolf spiders got me wanting some. Jeremy, have you got a table at BTS? Have you got a table at BTS?
Yes, I do.
Are you bringing any wolf spiders?
That Madriana,
if the Madriana hatch properly, and I get a good amount of slings, good size by BTS, I will be bringing some Madrianas with me.
There we go, Osman. You can hook up with Jeremy.
I'll be keeping a load back. Trust me, 80% of them I'm keeping. I am not selling practically many of them. So if you get one from me at the BTS, touch wood, if they all do well, be lucky. You're very lucky, because I'm holding a lot of these back. They're my favourite.
Obviously, Osman, Jeremy's in that chat anyway, Osman. So, Aruna Exotic says, Claire says, I grow my slings up bigger than a lot of jumper breeders. I'll second that, because you've only got to go look at a stand at the shows, to be honest.
Oh yeah, stand is great.
If you do want a jumping spider and you're at the shows, go look for Aruna Exotics. Her and her husband are lovely as well, and a kid.
Oh, they're great. I love them. And Dawn, if you're there, hello.
Yeah, Steve says the same as Kyle and Jeremy. All my slings are raised in groups.
It's just a win-win on both sides. You get healthy spiders, and feeding is so much easier. All I have to do is shake a ton of Melangasta into a deli cup and just pour it down. I didn't show the lids, did I? Hold on, sorry. I didn't show the lids off. I'll show you. 1 second.
Well, I think it's great that the true spider breeders are actually coming together, not competing. Just going, look, we're actually just a community of true spider enthusiasts, and if we can breed and sell a few, happy days.
This is the average tub that I'll use for raising up slings. It's a Bra Plus Cube, dirt cheap, pound something. A lot of space, can raise a lot of slings. Piece of cork bark, and what I've done with the lid is I've saved the sponges from the old fruit cultures. Cut it out. All I have to do to feed them, pop it open, chuck a bunch of fruit flies in, and that's it. Couple seconds, done. Hundreds of slings are fed. Whereas, unfortunately, I had to separate my Javanas because they hatched in their 32-ounce deli cup. I have 60 I have to hand feed, and that takes me half an hour. So you can see the benefits of communal raising. But yeah, so it just saves us time. It produces healthy spiders, and it's stuff that should be promoted a lot. And I feel like me, Carl, Stephen, all of us will be leading the way.
Hey, Emma.
Hopefully, and Jenny.
I was going to say, not to forget Jenny. She's
not to forget Jenny.
Much love, Jenny. Jenny's been crushing
what it's been changed as, but she's actually breeding captive red spiders she's got like the next. She's on to
Which
her
is a
like
feat
second
that has
generation.
not been done very often. It's been done a couple times, but I don't even think there's been any UK captive breds.
I think there might have been some beforehand through
Maybe a couple.
people
But
moaning.
like,
but
yeah,
realistically, she has done it consecutively. She's got her first few spiders, and everything that she's got now is from those first few. I said to her the other day, I was like, "You're consistent." She's like, "Oh, it's luck." I was like, "Yeah, luck isn't
consistent." And if you
not with Denopus.
no,
Not
no.
with Denopus.
You know,
It's not.
if somebody puts a question in one of the groups about a true spider, but you've got the same one, you just look and you read the comments to see what the answer is, don't you?
Yeah.
Jenny's normally there, like boom with the answer. Like,
I feel really bad because I work a lot. I work a huge amount. I'm a very busy lad, and I've said to Jenny like, said I do feel like you're doing it all on your own sometimes, and she was like, yeah, but I love it. And I was like, I know, but like, I'm trying to keep up the comments. I used to do the welcome posts, like that used to be my thing. And then I stopped getting notifications for welcome posts, and it's all Jenny basically runs that group with me just insulting people every now and then. Yeah.
But to be fair, though, I mean, we've been trying to organise this live for a good while, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's just your workload just said not today, not this week, and luckily it was. I think it's been about 2 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Available on the 30th. I was like, yeah,
working. Woohoo.
I don't know. It's not healthcare, mate. But you know, if I don't turn up, then you don't have nice fresh steaks. So, what's more important, you know, the hospital or fresh steaks? In my mind,
don't ask me.
Some people aren't interested in steaks.
I can't lie, ribeye. Sounding good right now.
Yeah.
That was the only good thing about COVID was the price of steaks just went really low because they weren't selling them to the restaurant.
They needed to sell their steaks, so it's like, ooh, yeah, ribeye every day. Yeah.
Those is it tomahawk steaks?
Yeah.
I bought a massive sheet of the thing for 20 quid.
Yeah.
And the meat market, he said, pre-COVID, that was 120 quid's worth. Now they're 20 quid. I was like, oh yeah. And then me and the missus that night were sat there with a tomahawk steak like that.
Just carving into the thing. Oh, lovely.
I wonder why I'm fat.
I just enjoy food, man.
Yeah. I'm like a spoiler and opportunist. So whenever there's food, it's I love it. Biscuit you got there, I love that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Collector says, I love wall spiders, but the ones in New York are small.
Hey, you're in America. You can just get some from Carolina. Oh, God. Carolina
says,
or
count me in for the next
California
true
or something.
spider
Florida,
live
just
feed.
scoop them up and send them to you.
Yeah. They
Just
got
come
spiders,
posted, you know. It's just like
Steve wants to join the next True Spider live feed. Do you reckon Jenny would as well?
Who's that, Steve?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've said to Jenny before, like what I was hoping was because there's never really any discussions. I find it hard to find discussions on true spiders, and I like to look and research specific species, and it's always really limited. You get something like an overhaul, and it's like this works for most. It's like, will it work for the one that I've got? But there's always that question, especially when you don't know. You know, you've been given the name of a spider, and you don't know anything about genuses. You have no idea about how the tree works. To you, it's just a spider. You want information on that specific spider. So I'm hoping that like people like Jenny and Stephen and you Jeremy and Scott, and getting people together like once a month where you have a big discussion about a topic. And with Jenny's knowledge, man, should be invaluable. But I think a little bit of it is just being a bit camera shy, really. Because I know I am
quite happy because you can literally just go. Let me just show you. You can do that and carry on talking. I'm quite happy for guests to come on and do that.
Yeah,
because exactly, I completely understand that. Because when I started YouTube, I was like, they can see me, you know what I mean, and it is a bit of a shock to start with. Alice, I'll call her Alice in Spiderland, but it's Al's Ark. she's absolutely lovely. She says, "What would you consider to be one of the best true spiders for a beginner?" Which is a question. I do apologise because I should have asked you this a couple of hours ago. Like,
That's all good. Want to go first, Carl?
For me, it's probably anything from the Lycosae genus. Most of them are very, very easy to look after. If you want something active, which are quite commonly sold over here, Carolinensis, that's one of the easiest ones to come across. Well, I say easiest. I've been trying for bloody forever and a day to try and get them in, and finally I get a little bulk of them. Miami is a really, really simple, really nice looking spider, and there's a whole variety in colours. But if you like something that's more of that will sort of tunnel and dig, then the Hispanicas, as they get older, they actually start digging and will make quite an elaborate retreat with trapdoors that they will move out of the way. And yeah,
Charlotte says jumping spider. Aurora Exotic says Fidoporium and Charlotte's webs are breeding. What's that one, Jeremy? Sorry.
Thank
you. The Velvets. Philip says,
I've got an example of those as well.
Philip says sand spider. I would say sand spider or Hogna Miami or one of the Hogna species myself. I know there's that old sand spider thing in this and t'other. But where have I put them?
They can't climb glass. Keep them in a deep tub with some sand and a cork bark hanging to the side so they can molt, and Bob's your uncle. Easy peasy.
You'd never believe where my sand spiders are currently, but they're over there on the cooker. I was moving a load of stuff around here, but sand spiders, an inch of sand, chuck them in, piece of cork bark, happy days.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. But jumping spiders. I
agree with Carl with the Lycosidae. Definitely, the wolf spiders are one that I recommend for beginners, because as well as with the speed, people are worried about true spiders being super, super quick. Lycosids can be quick, but nowhere near the speed of Spiracids and Centenidae, the Wanderers and the Huntsman spiders. And the other group that I would recommend would be the Erisidae, so the velvet spiders as well. I would say that I know there's jumping spider people here, I'm sorry, but I would recommend them over the jumpers just because of the ease of care in comparison. With jumping spiders, you do have to keep an eye on humidity levels and stuff like that. Whereas Erisidae, you keep them dry, you spray them like maybe once a month just to give them some drops of water. Give them a cork piece and they'll make a little web tunnel. For example, my Erisidae species, blue, adult female, in a little cube. An adult doesn't need a lot of space. She's just made a little cotton candy castle behind. And they hide away most of the time.
If so, when?
I'm waiting on the egg sac to hatch at the moment. If it is successful, I will hopefully have some either at what's the show, Rice Lip, the April show, or definitely BTS. It just depends on the size of them. I would rather have them grown on a little bit. And another good thing, Erisidae do and can live quite a numerous amount of years. Some females can live 2.5 years because they grow super slow.
Rona wants a couple when they come through. And then I think it was Michael and Anton mentioned jumping spiders. You guys breed trapdoor spiders, sorry. You guys breeding any of those or had any plans to?
Personally, the reason I like the families that I like is because most of them, I know, Huntsman like to hide away, but there's a good chance of seeing them. With certain families, they spend pretty much 95% of their entire existence in a tube. And unless you've got some way of looking inside that tube where they build it up against the side of the glass or something, I just don't think there's any point in. That's my personal views. I just don't think you're really going to get anything from it. You're not really going to learn anything, I think, if that makes sense.
I wonder if they could produce, Jeremy, Ants HQ, Ants Nest, but for a trapdoor spider.
Oh, those tubes that they use,
cool.
yeah.
I can't show you my. It's for another video because it's got the ants in there currently. There we go. One of them bad boys.
So like with their enclosure, Carl, like what would be cool with like these enclosures is that you can take like the plexiglass off and view inside the nest really clearly.
Yeah.
So like if they can make something like that for trapdoors, that would be really cool.
That would be. It's just I know that some line their burrow or line the tubes with
Hey, Moon.
web, don't they?
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of hard to see inside.
So I was really lucky. One of my OBTs actually created started digging out right up against the glass. And I was like, this is brilliant. Like I'm gonna pop a view in. And then I came out like 3 days later and it was just white web. And I was like, man.
Steve W wants a velvet one as well. Hey, Moon.
Trapdoors, I don't know if it's successful or not, but I did have a sex pair of Lephistius Jarogini, the primitive trapdoor, together for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if something's happened, I don't know. They literally will just be next to each other. He'll just sit by her little trapdoor, and whether something happened, I don't know. So if she produces an egg sac, happy days. If not, I just have her anyways. If Lee offered them to me for a price, Spider Shot Lee.
Cheers, Zoe.
Said, "Oh, you want these for this price?" I'm like, I can't say no. When am I ever going to get the opportunity to have a pair of trapdoors again?
Zoe's just become a channel member. Thank you.
Oh, nice. So yeah, hopefully those work out.
It really helps. It does really help.
A lot of projects lined up. Some say it would be too many, but for me, I'm
no worries there.
Comfortable where I am. So, I think
that's what it's about.
And then, if anything, I can always pass projects along to other people within the spider hobby. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Got to give Steve W and Leah a massive shout out actually, because I wouldn't have been able to get to the show if it weren't for those guys. So what Steve did was he's down this part of the country. The show's here. I live here. So he drove up, picked me up, and then drove down. And then Leah lives over here. I live here. So instead of her going this way, she come up and then went across. A lot of love.
Awesome,
a lot of love.
Awesome.
Bloody amazing people. This whole community.
And it was a really good show. So it was definitely worth driving up and down for it because, my God, C's was great.
It was. Whether I'd go there again next year, I'm in two minds because the first room was just too much, far too much. They needed.
That was, oh my God! I was there 10 minutes. I was sweating like a madman. It was horrible.
The first 10 minutes in there, all right. After that, suddenly you just could not move, and you couldn't. If somebody in there
when you couldn't move.
if you had an anxiety attack over the far side, it'd be 15 minutes before you could get out the front to get some air. And for me, that's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
They need to either get rid of the middle tables and try and set them up somewhere else. Maybe
they were saying that some of the traders were saying that previous years that it wasn't like that. So this was a recent change. So I hope they don't do it that again.
Was it with the hope of getting more traders involved? Was it
assumingly, yeah, because I think a lot of traders dropped out last minute and a lot of new traders came in. So I guess they just tried to pack them all in together.
Yeah, because Amna, Hurt Mania and Leah, E&L Binding Crafts both managed to get spaces, didn't they? Which was good.
Yeah. I would have traded if I knew I could apply for a table, but, everyone was saying, oh,
hey, Michael. Hi, Jamie.
But never mind. Hopefully next year.
Yeah, Jamie said he didn't go just pure because how crowded it was last year. Oh, no, it's Steve.
Yeah. Great experience and a lot of nice variety at this show.
I do think the people that organise not just C's but BTS, all the Ancons, the invert shows do need to think of exit spaces for people with anxieties, because even if you haven't got anxieties, being in a crowd when you're not used to it can get your heart pumping, and sometimes that heat coming to you as well. You do need to find that exit pretty quickly. So even if there's just a gap in the tables where you can just go
just to quickly squeeze on by. It was I felt so bad because I was trying to have conversations with people and I was so lightheaded because I wanted to take my jumper off, but my shirt was covered in fluff, so I didn't want to walk around looking like
I was chatting to you, but at that time I was going outside at the same time for those very reasons. My anxiety levels got up a bit, And I was just
I
like,
was
I'll
just
go
so
outside,
lightheaded. I was just so off of it. And then people were like calling my name. I was just like, who said that? And then people were tapping me shoulder. I'm like, hello, who are you? It's like took me a minute to register faces, but like it was a great show nonetheless, and I had a good time. Spent way too much as per usual.
Hey, live the real world. I didn't spend too much actually. I did all right.
I'm quite lucky. I live
I
down
wish I could
south,
say the
so-
same. I thought I did all right until Lee popped out a pair of Pandanus Imperators from under the table, and he was like, "Give me 120 for those." I was like, "I can't say no to that."
For a
For a
pair.
pair.
For a sexed adult pair, 120. I couldn't say no.
Fuck off.
I'm being dead serious. That was my reaction too. So yeah, the whole thing is, Tim Baxter was getting his stuff from him, a couple boxes under the table, and I jokingly walked on over. I was like, "What's in the box?" as a joke, just to be nosy, you know. I like Tim's stuff, so I was like, "What's in the box?" And then he just whips out 2 spiders, and like I look at the name, Monis and Choppers Lambertoni, 2 adult females. I was like, "Whoa, never seen these before, available ever." And he was like, "Oh, I'll give you them for 100." I was like, "Oh." I was wavering on it, and then he whipped out the Pandanus pair. I'm like, "Oh, those are cool." I was thinking, "Oh, he's gonna ask 200 for them." And he's like, "I'll give them to you for 120." I was like, "No way." You can ask my friend Ryan. I was really like,
yeah, between 200 and 225. That's only because Bugdot reduced the price over the last year.
yeah. And I was just like,
How you doing, well, Jamie?
if I walked away from that deal, I'd be
There's
like
Michael.
complaining about it to this day.
I've seen like them individually priced at 120. That's why I was
Yeah.
really surprised.
I love Lee. He always does
sweat.
good deals.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? I mean, Clayton and Luke were two of my favourite spider sellers by a long shot. And Portsmouth, Bugnut, and Spar Spiders.
Lee just gets in all kinds of truths. I mean, I was chatting to him for like 20 minutes, talking about the new imports he's getting in the next couple of weeks. Ooh, he's putting a Jeremy box for me. He was literally like to me, he's like, "Oh, if I can't identify something, I'll chuck in a box if it interests you. Just throw me a price. I'll chuck in a box for you." I was like, "Yeah." And just for people here now, just a little exclusive, some nice spiders are coming in, so keep an eye on the website for the next couple of weeks. Not going to say what species, because that'll spoil the fun.
Your website.
Oh,
Jeremy, your website.
no, I don't have a website yet.
No.
Maybe later on this year.
What do you mean TSS?
Spider Shop, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of really, I'm telling you, like really cool stuff. Some firsts in the country and some really rare stuff. So keep an eye out, guys, if you are looking for stuff. Well, maybe don't keep an eye out.
Clayton's connected, though. He is really well connected. Probably because he's been in the trade.
Really cool stuff.
I think he left the Navy, went straight into animals and reptiles. So I know he supplies.
He does the reptile imports, Phil was saying.
No, he doesn't import them as such. He just goes over and then brings them back himself, which is the next.
Oh,
next
so he's like a courier. Oh, okay.
He'll go over. He doesn't always sell to the private trade because he supplies sort of 70% of the pet shops up and down the country with reptiles, tortoises, frogs. Paul, who works with him, does mainly dart frogs as well. So it's always worth it if you want something that's not an invert. Have a chat with Clayton at a show and see what you guys can organise. I know he's down Portsmouth way, so. But he's very passionate when he starts talking about those animals. He's just like, what? He's like Luke. Him and Luke are very, very similar. Yeah, just both of them have got wealths of knowledge.
Yeah, it's the same with me, man. If someone brings up true spiders or other weird and wonderful bugs, I don't stop talking. I was literally saying earlier when you were off the phone, like, me and Carl, like we've talked for the first time on the phone prior to you organising the chat, the stream, and we talked for like 3 or 4 hours. I think it was like 1 a.m. We started our call at 9 o'clock.
It was like 1:30. I had to get up the next day like 6.
1:30 we stopped
I had to get up at 5.
and like, we tried to say goodbye like 3 or 4 times, and we just kept bringing up topics we wanted to talk about. We just couldn't stop. It was great. And it's stuff like this, talking to like-minded people about stuff we're passionate about is always something. And that's also something with the videos I try to do is, I try to show off the stuff that not a lot of people will make a video specific on, and, get some information out there so people can enjoy it. Because as Carl knows, and he said today, like information on truths is non-existent most of the time. So, to have a video out there and, this is how I keep them, this is how I'm raising these. And like what I'm hoping to do in the future is with the Hematosoma as the first species, doing like a ultimate care guide sort of thing, kind of like, what Tom Patterson does with his species. So when these slings I'm raising get to adulthood, I can confidently say, this is how you keep them. In my opinion, how I've raised them from sling to adult, this is how you breed them, this is how you care for the egg sac, and, just do a full cycle. So at least there's something out there for people to reference on, rather than just like arachnopods just talking briefly about, oh, I want this. Oh, well, good luck finding one from 2007.
Claire got some Octopuncactius from Lee, and both dropped egg sacs. Hetrapods, if anyone's aware of a trade or a breeder offering tiger beetles, I'd love to get some predatory beetles from the Anthea genus.
Wait later on this year. Anthea will be coming in later on this year when the Egyptian imports come in, probably around May time.
You can ship from the EU to the UK, says egg-legged hunters. You can, it just takes ages. You can, it just takes ages, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's about five to 7 working days, and there's no return policy, so you kind of got to do the trade-off about, against getting some potentially nicer species that you wouldn't commonly see over here, cheaper prices, but if stuff goes wrong, like TSS have been brilliant. Every time I've ever had an issue, those guys are on it like a carbonic,
oh, they're great. I love it.
Or try and change it. And half the time, to be fair, it's not even their fault. Like the issues have occurred right at the start when the spider's been potted. But buying from Europe, you won't have that security. You spend 150 quid, you could lose that 150 quid. So that's something you have to be really
for sure.
I know a lot of what I want. I can't find it over here. Like I've got all of the. See, there isn't any new wolf spider species for me to get. So it's either stuff that comes in randomly, or getting stuff specifically from Europe.
People saying Spiders World EU don't ship to the UK. I've heard different stories. I heard they won't, but if you spend over 500 quid, then they will.
Well, I've been talking with some dealers that are willing to ship.
But then with their weather conditions as well, you have to wait for the right time of year.
Yeah.
Because it's not like -2 over there, is it? It goes like -20 something.
They receive icicle pucks in the mail.
Here's your spider.
Here's your spider, frozen in time.
Madagascar shipment is on its way to the UK. Ooh. No worries. But again, when you buy from Europe, you've got to be careful that no DWA comes as a freebie. Because the amount of times I've heard like, oh, Scott, what these Deathstalkers that I got free from Europe, are they legal in the UK? It's like, no, please take them down to your local reptile shop like now. Okay.
I was sent something and it.
Oh, the Huntsman. Is any inverts coming in on that Madagascar import, or is it just reptiles? Because if there's any inverts and there's any spiders, me and Carl will take them without us.
Yeah, please let me know.
Any Madagascan spiders we will take. It doesn't matter what it is, we'll take it.
Actually, Jamie, if you message me before Carl and Jeremy, that'd be great.
Please.
We'll do our best to then give you captive bred stock in return.
Yes.
Full works for one for 8 years.
Yeah, it's just like, you see all these cool ones and hopefully we can establish them, get them going, just have them. That's just the main thing, just have them consistently out for option. We don't have to wait for imports.
Yeah.
A seasonal import, for example, like, I know it's not easy with the Sabalis, the white lady dancing spider or the sand terrestrial huntsman. But, they come in once a year, maybe twice if you're lucky. And, to get those established would be fantastic. So we don't have to wait a year to get them again.
Problem is,
I've not had much luck with them, unfortunately.
I know
But
it's a bit of a touchy subject, but it's actually being able to get hold of those spiders, because a lot of them will be purchased and bought by people that just want that spider in a tub, and they won't do anything with it. It will sit there. To actually we need to try and make sure the right people are getting like a multiple number of them, so that they can go, right, actually, I've got a chance to be able to start breeding these.
That's not the lady dancer. That's the other one that I got from you and Ben, Jeremy.
Negabensis.
Negabensis, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben's female.
I'll put it in the sand for it to hopefully dig and create that trapdoor, but it's not. So I'm going to change its substrate out again.
Is the sand quite fine and grainy, and when you put your finger in there, it collapses back up? So they won't. They will only build it if it's like a mixture where you can almost... There you are. Yeah.
Is that yours?
Yeah, this was a male I had. Unfortunately, he died at some
What's the substrate? Is it like a damp play sand?
It's like gravelly, isn't it? It's like clayish.
Yeah, it's this stuff from Pets at Home, the leopard gecko substrate. It's
Did you keep it moist?
Yeah, I mixed it with a little bit of topsoil. It was like more of a 80-20, so 80% this and then 20% topsoil. But you see, it's all fine grit and then like smaller yellow sand. And I mixed that with topsoil, compacted it really deep, and then did a little starter burrow for it. And then it did that little time lapse.
Jamie's still after a female or weaver. A raw, and I can't fault Leah.
This took him like 40 minutes.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, look, he just does a little web closing up.
But it's also with those, it's generating enough heat from above, because if you don't generate the heat, they don't bury. I've got, I had a female up until 3 weeks ago, and she passed. No, literally, the start of this year, she passed.
Never-bensis, Tom.
And she's over like a year and God knows how many months old. Like, I can't believe she was still going. There was a running joke with my daughter where she'd come down and go, "Dad, she's still alive." And I'd be like, "I know, I don't understand it. She's
right, I can't believe it.
Still great. She doesn't move."
I'll be back in just 1 second. I need a toilet visit.
That's all good, dude.
Yeah, it's
either that or warm a seal, but it'll still be wet. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a spare bucket. Out to the rainforest, guys.
But it's like, I was so gutted when my Negabensis, that one was a male, and he molted subadult, and then he just didn't last much longer after that. I don't know what happened, if it was just like a bad molt or something internally, but yeah, that's the problem with wild caught. You just never know what's going on internally, whether it's parasites or a virus or something like that. So yeah, it's why I always, like, when I first get stuff in, I keep them in a sterile environment, just simple. Then once they've settled in, I know they're doing okay, get them into something nicer looking. Like you've seen with my female Carolinensis, like, that enclosure is really nice. So yeah, I got her super tiny, like probably half an inch from TSS when they had like a random amount of them come in, and I've had her for a year and a bit now, and she's huge. So
they're honestly, I think they're one of the sexiest wolf spiders personally.
Yes,
like the color.
You just can't go wrong with the golden chelicerae, and then like the grainy. It's like, it's not one solid color; it's all multiple shades of grey.
It's like fantastic. My favorite morph is the grey one, the one that you took a photo of earlier. That is what I would think whenever I think of a Carolinensis. It's like, boom, that instantly appears into my head.
That's it.
Every time
those photos weren't even edited yet; just raw photos.
Really?
Didn't even edit them yet. Yeah, they're just straight from my phone. Didn't even edit them yet.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's and they look that good. So it's
what
like,
you haven't
I'm
seen
looking forward to photographing my Nigeriana.
I'll just better do a bit of makeup. He's going to take a photo in a minute. Better be ready.
God, flick some dirt on my face, rub that in. Do the Sicarius when they just flick the sand all over them.
Fang
just
juice.
like, a little bit of venom, just make the chelicerae look good.
That's it.
Get the rosy cheeks on the side. But yeah, it's just like, that's one thing as well. It's just the wild caught stuff. You just never know how long they'll last. Like, I was gutted when my white Saristoi, the Barolesti Saristoi, died. Like that was gutting. I loved her. Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Then I've still got the lichen one now. That egg sac didn't. The sling died. It molted out. The one sling molted out to a sling, and I found it dead.
No one's had luck with those. I've seen so many photographs of, because that was when certain speakers, normally we haven't had, like, we don't really worry about not being able to buy stuff, like in terms of spiders. Like normally there's always some sort of money there, but they came in and I just said to the missus, I was like, look, we haven't really got the money to like do a big shipment or anything. We're just going to stand back. And I bet you any money someone's going to have babies, because if they've got enough of them, there'll be enough females that come in that have been, that have paired before coming in. So I'll just wait. I'll just sit on the lines and wait. And everybody that was like, yeah, I've got an egg sac, I've got slings. It's like, right, let me know when you're done. Yeah. So what happened with them? Oh, they all died. Oh, man.
I was so sad when I saw that little sling just curled up in the corner. I was like, why? I babied you. It's like I've grown you on from an egg with leg to a sling, and it took 3 weeks.
You were supposed
I get
to
you
be
in a nice little cup.
Spider.
Never mind. Well, I don't know. Maybe some of those are coming in next week. Maybe.
Gonna keep my eyes open now. I didn't know that there was anything, but then again, I haven't had my ear to the ground. I've sort of just been my focus, because I know Stephen's offered me some stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm going to be honest with you. Normally, I would jump at the chance, and I'd be like, yeah. But my one goal at the moment isn't actually the spiders; it's getting this room sorted so that I have the capacity to care for everything when it comes in, and that when I breed, I've got everything set up, because I get the enclosures ready. And I know what I'm going to keep. I know what species I'm after. So I make the habitat. And if it's something that's an eco setup, I like to make sure it's established. Because like within the first 4 weeks...
Can I just give Balfour Town just say quick night? Night, dude. Take care. He's had a few days after having a really bad seizure Monday morning. I see how much those seizures take it out of our lad. You know what I mean? So yeah, get some rest, dude. Thank you for popping in. You know what I mean? BH heart bacteria namaquinensis. Yes or no? Yes.
I got sent over a heart bacteria dictator today, unexpectedly. Came in a box from Raymond, actually. Sent me some stuff over, and I was like, open the box. I'll look at it. I'm like, I was actually considering buying one of these on the weekend.
Raymond is such a nice guy.
He is the best. The best.
He's helping. He's kind of helping me get somebody on a live, and it's going to be a special evening.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. He's a creator for reptiles at somewhere, and that is just a tiny bit of what this guy does.
A little bit of a spoiler alert. Ooh, interesting. We'll see what's going on.
Oh yeah. He also writes papers on reptiles. That should be
I need to start writing some stuff down, but work has just been I've just not been able to sit down and just type away on my phone and get stuff ready. But it's good that I had the videos to document stuff and photos as well.
I've been out of work recently, and then the days I am at work, it's been well busy. But the problem is, when you haven't got the money, and it's like you sit there thinking, well, I've got these ideas for YouTube. I really need to do this, do that, do that. It's then getting the motivation, because instead of thinking like that, your mind goes on, I need to get an income. I need to sort things. Do you know what I mean? So even when you've got the time, mentally, you always your mind just goes off onto something that you're worrying about more than what you should be focusing on.
Yeah, it's like, I've worked, don't know if people know, but I work in the NHS. I'm a healthcare assistant in the operating theatres. So I do grueling hours, short breaks, 4 days a week. Sometimes they ask me to do bank shifts, and I sometimes have to do them because I'm short-staffed, So it's like there's days where I just come home, go into bed. I'm just like, spiders have been well fed. I don't want to do any maintenance today. Just want to, me time. So like, it's I'm not complaining. I'm happy with the job and everything.
So Jeremy
I
comes
just wish
home
I had
from
some more
work,
motivation to get up and
has some me time, which is what, surfing OnlyFans for an hour, and then he goes.
Making himself
oh, how'd you know?
Sorry, Lee, I can't afford that. I've just subscribed to this person on OnlyFans.
I've got a list I have to get through. I'll tip you next week. It's like, it's like I've got the feedings done. I'll come home, I'll feed. I have like a routine. So yes, I have hundreds of individuals at the moment, and people are probably like, "Oh, Jeremy, you do 7:30 to 5:30. You come home at 6:30. You really feed about a few hundred animals?" Yes, I do, and yeah, it's true though, because like if I thought at any point I couldn't handle the amount of animals I have, I would just I'd start reducing. But for me, I'm still at a point where I have a routine down, and I can feed everything, water everything, do checkups on everything, make sure everything's doing all right. And my animals are growing and doing well, and breeding's happening, and I find time somehow. I don't know.
Right.
There's never enough hours in a day, but I find time.
Just like Charlotte says, I find feeding therapeutic. That's why I hardly ever film my feeding, is because I just what camera? Do you know what I mean? You're in the zone. It's you and the spiders. It's chill out time, man. That's that.
It's like with the streams. It's why I'm so happy there's a lot of consistent streams recently, because I'll just stick you guys in the background. I'll just listen to what you guys are talking about, and I'll just do feedings. Like, you guys make feeding hundreds of true spider slings bearable.
I think I've been doing lives on a Tuesday now for over 2 years, and I think I've missed 2 Tuesdays in those 2 years. I've been late a couple of times because of work and stuff, but I think a couple of times every night. But good. We're about to change it from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock start. There's been a few of those.
But no,
but
honestly,
for me,
like
dreams
every
is where
Tuesday I feed the slings, and it's great. Just stick you guys on, listen to the conversations you guys have, potting flies, and saying every kind of swear word when a huntsman or one of the satanids bolt out of their tub and I have to go crawling around the floor trying to pick it up. But I've got it down to a T, just like it's like not even a second nature. Pop, close the lid, down it goes, pop, down the lid. So it's just like,
Jamie says, should I do YouTube lives like I did TikTok? Definitely, go for it.
The more lives, the better, guys. You get through my feelings.
A couple of times, bloody liar. Jackie, I know. I literally. Jackie will know, but for those that don't, with StreamYard, we get to sit like this and have a little conversation before clicking the start broadcast button, right? Tonight, I think we had 30 seconds and then that was it. Because, just both the boys are ill. So Tara was on the phone to the out of hours and all the rest of it, and they hadn't phoned back, so she was getting stressy. And then, just things happen, don't they?
Life.
Yeah,
life, man.
Both boys have got conjunctivitis symptoms, so halfway through the stream, when I had to pop off for a second, the wife had brought Noah in, and his eyes just swollen up here, and I was like, yeah, fuck, yeah, doctors right now. Luckily, it's a 5-minute walk, and she's at the walking centre. It's not conjunctivitis. He's basically got a really, really bad cold, which has blocked all this up. But when he gets a runny nose, he does this, so he's pushing it into his eye, so he's got bacterial infection.
Oh, so it's a constant rubbing. Yeah.
So hence the swelling. But Leo's the same as well. But you throw autism into that as well. It's just the cold and being ill is another trigger for him. And when he's ill, is a massive trigger for us because we have to watch him because that's when he has his seizures. Mainly when he's been in a new environment around new people, or when he's not feeling very well. It's always like, fuck. Hey, Gordon. Charlotte says her boys are the same. Yeah.
Like stress-induced, maybe.
And then we've got a stroppy 13-year-old Layla. that talks to you, that walks down to you like she's 30 and knows everything. It's that typical age, and I remember doing it myself as well. She's 13, but Layla, can you do this for me? Oh, it's like, oh. It's like, what's that mean? What's oh? And then she tries to argue with you, but she keeps forgetting I'm quite a logical person. You know, 1 + 1 is 2. So I'm like, no, it's not that. It's this way. You know, she's getting all frustrated. I'm sitting there going, still doesn't work though.
You kind of beat him, don't you, by stating the obvious? I'm
like, you can cry as much as you want. It's still wrong. What do you want me to say? Leah says, I know so many people don't have DWA license but still keep them. It's disgusting.
They shouldn't, man. That's going to really mess things up.
Well, yeah, because
I will always say this, and I've said this even before I got into the hobby because of college and stuff like that. It's just not worth the risk. Because all it can, I literally said earlier today, it's like all it needs to be is one stupid guy or girl, or gets bit and stung or whatever the hell happens.
They're all doing it. They're all keeping
blasted all over the news. The government have an eye, and they're like, no, we're not allowing any imports to come in anymore. That's it.
And the neighbour that knows you've got spiders who doesn't like you, hi, and then suddenly you got a council visit for no reason. But it's like, could you imagine?
They'll confiscate your animals, and then
Could you imagine sitting there with I don't know 20 DWA, whatever it is, behind you, and one of your kids has put their hand in, got twatted. You've then got to take them to the hospital, explain that situation,
explain what happened,
explain what it was. Then you've got a council investigation, a police investigation, and social services at your door. Yeah, good luck is all I'll say. Good luck.
It's just not worth it for you and the hobby in general.
Plus, anybody in their right mind, if they go around their house and see them, will be like, "That you haven't got a hello." Do you know what I mean? And people that do whistle.
I was talking to a friend of mine in Germany. Like his state used to allow all venomous DWAs, where obviously they don't have DWA over there. But they were allowed to keep, the Buffidae and stuff like that, Latrodectus and stuff. And some mistakes happened. I think it was to do with some cobras or something like that. They got out, and it was all over the news. And the state just went, nope, no more. These animals will no longer be allowed to keep. So now he's no longer allowed to keep Latrodectus. He's no longer allowed to keep Buffidae. And he's not allowed to keep Posotheria either. No Posotheria allowed at all.
Wow.
Not allowed to be brought in, not allowed to be bred or sold. And it's things like that. It's like it could just happen all of a sudden, and they could just be like, no more wandering spiders, nothing, not allowed to keep anything. Or they could try and do a white list like they tried to do in America, where it's like you're allowed to keep this species, this species, this species, everything else.
Yeah, it's
that won't work.
It's like you're not allowed to keep this, and it's like, yeah, but it's an invasive species, and there's millions of them in the wild anyway. So what does it matter?
So what's the point? It's like, all right, fine. If I'm not allowed to buy them, I'll just go catch one out in my garden.
yeah, but then you're not allowed to keep it.
I'm not allowed to keep land snails. Well, there's some in my garden. I'll go collect them and not tell you.
Yeah. They're just not allowed in your house. You're breaking the law if they enter your house.
Leah says if a sand spider
just do the American, how they do the fish ponds. The YouTubers do the fish ponds. Like just do that with the inverts, like an invert greenhouse. Well, I'm not in my house.
You see, I mean, I'm chatting to somebody that does that, and I'm like, I can't do it in the UK.
Well, just keep them outside.
You can't literally go and pick up fish out of the canal and just put them in your pond, can you?
Oh,
you're moving livestock, which is illegal for a start. So,
I say that, but then I remember a few years ago, I used to do cleaning jobs at an office, and they have a beautiful pond, loads of koi inside, and apparently they had to put electric fence around because some numpty decided to scoop one of these big, I'm telling you, a 4-foot koi, scoop it out, run to the local park, dump it in the pond.
We've got the local park here. It's called Swanswell, and you can Google this as well. They've put cameras around it, and it's right next to town. Everybody walks past it to and from town and everything. But they're having fish go missing, lots of them, and they were actually being caught, killed, taken home, and eaten. And it was if you knew the area where this pool was in, you'd be like, No, because the fish probably take more crack than the residents do. It's pretty much that bad.
Hooked on
I
fish.
was just looking at a coin being yummy.
Like the canal, they've been doing it on the canal near me, and I'm like, if only you could see the amount of rubbish people throw in there. It's just like all those heavy metals,
really wanting to put that in your body.
Wow, I have had fish like that have been live caught, but that was out of a river in the middle of nowhere. And it was on private land. It was owned privately as well, and we were popping rabbits off for the farmer, and he said we could do that, so we did. We shot a load of the rabbits, and then the following day we went down onto the river.
It's like most fish, like they contain some sort of toxins. And I think with tuna, like one of the biggest killers is what is it? Metal,
mercury,
heavy metals. Yeah.
Because I know when I used to train, tins of tuna were absolutely brilliant for like a little snack. And at one point I was eating one every single day. Like I'll have one in the morning, and I'll have one for breakfast, lunch, and then mate,
I was having 5 or 6 a day.
More than 3 tins, and effectively you can end up with too much mercury in your body. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have 3 tins a week rather than 2 tins a day.
It's like, I go fishing every year in Brighton. I'm like, I want to eat all of this fish. I was like, if I do, I'm going to get sick.
I don't think you can put Xander back, can you? It's Xander what we ate. It was actually a really nice taste there. And it's also crayfish, grey crayfish. If I remember right.
Oh, those are the American ones, the invasive ones.
The red signal crayfish, isn't it? The red ones.
Yeah, those are those ones from America where they're like, just catch as many as you want. Just put the ones with the white tips back in the water. Yeah, because people are really looking out for the white tips on a crayfish.
When I was at school, we used to have a pond, and there used to be full of them at school.
They are nasty little things, just digging up all the canals and making them all collapse and stuff.
Yeah, some cultures have mirror carp for Christmas, the same as we have salmon. But you've got to remember, the reason carp are in the UK is because the monks brought them over as a food source. That's why they're actually in the UK originally.
And now they're just protected as sports fish.
Now they're just sports fish, yeah. Well, it goes back to one person will eat a cow, but they won't eat a bunny rabbit because it looks pretty.
Both taste nice.
Yeah, let's hope we don't get into the apocalypse, because I'm going to be honest, if I'm hungry, I'd eat my mate. So
I've got lots of food. Ooh, just had a mantis
most of these animals would become a meal.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of crispy,
this
crunchy, all kinds of things. I've got dubias on the go. They get fed nice, lush food, so it's like, I can snack on a few dubias.
Terry said Matt Hayes was talking about
dubia.
A few mealworms.
Yeah, a few mealworms, couple black soldier flies, great protein. I mean, the spiders love it, so
dude.
And if worse comes to worse, I breed spiders, so I can always sprinkle a few on some toast.
A few Huntsman.
There goes my red fangs. The bad
remember when COVID just started, and we were just about to go in lockdown, but you could still go and see people, and they were talking about it. Lockdown's coming, army, this, that, t'other. A video come out about people's bodies being stacked in stadiums and all sorts. It's all going to happen. I remember popping around and seeing my best mate, and I went, "What the fuck's that?" And he went, "Oh yeah, because the apocalypse is coming." He bought 10 5-kilogram bags of rice. I was like,
should have spent it on toilet roll.
What? I went, "What's that?"
At least it wasn't toilet roll.
He went, "Well, if worst case scenario, if it goes worldwide and all this that and t'other," and I went, "Yeah." I went, "But your water's going to be infected anyway. So what are you going to do there?" He bought gas masks and everything ready. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I literally just was
if
like,
people were smart and they bought all those toilet rolls, they could have grown mushrooms out of them. But no, they just used it because they could wipe their bum with it.
There's people still wiping their asses on toilet roll that they bought when lockdown first started.
2020. It's like, I'm going to buy it to wipe my ass. I was like, you could be smart and grow food out of it, but no.
At one point,
you buy them to wipe your bum.
That stuff doesn't flush very well.
No. Hey, grow the mushrooms, feed the roaches, more food for me.
Yeah. Or eat the mushrooms and the roaches.
Exactly.
Grow some funny mushrooms.
I
and
fed
you
these
think
roaches
you're
up on the
eating
mushrooms.
something
I'm
much
eating
better than
right next
roaches.
to them. Deep fried dubia.
Yeah, if there's an apocalypse, our roach colony is going to be worth a lot of money.
Oh yeah. It was like, yeah, infected food. No, just chuck them to the roaches. They got guts like no other. They'll burn all the bad things away, and we'll be able to snack on dubias.
See, the wife and the daughter crap me up because I'll come back from the shop and I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, tin of soup 5p because it's a week out of date. They're like, you can't eat that. It's, like, it's in a tin. What's got inside the tin to do any damage? Nothing.
Have you not watched any zombie apocalypse films 20 years later and they're still eating tin food?
Yeah.
It's because legally they have to put a sell-by date on it. It's the same with dried food like noodles, rice that's dried in those cup of soups as well. As long as the packet's never damaged, the interior is fine. No moisture's got in. Once the moisture gets in, that's when the bacteria gets in, causes the issue. But there's no moisture in there. Open it, munch it, job done. I'm not suggesting you do that for legal reasons.
Heard it here, guys. We're not saying do it. Don't do it.
I'm all for eating insects. I think it's a great thing personally. There's huge benefits.
They taste
to eating
nice.
insects. Yeah, I don't actually think mealworms taste as bad as everyone says.
I've been told different. Yeah, some people have been over Thailand and tried them and said the locust tastes really nice, really sweet, this, that, and t'other. Then other people have gone over and gone, no, it just tastes like a gone-off fish. But I think that depends on the flavouring that you've asked for.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, communication barrier is going to be different. So if you've gone, I'll have whatever you suggest, and they go, well, we eat a lot of, fishy flavours, so they flavour it their way. Obviously,
I mean, some specialty paste of fermented
you're
shrimp.
not gonna enjoy it, yeah, exactly.
And it's like, the ones on the street market, they're just chucking them in oil with nothing else. They're just doing it for the, they know people will buy them, so they just chuck them in oil and make them cooked, and then that's it. That's why they don't taste nice. But if you prepare them properly, like I've had some of the flavoured crickets, those are pretty good.
Charlotte, so I get my dubious to breed.
Salt
They
and vinegar
have
crickets,
food, water, and a
lovely.
hide. Do I need to play them some music to get in the mood? The dubious can take months to start breeding, but you want it reasonably dry. But then I just spray the sides of mine down once a week. I don't keep water in there all the time. But then egg crates like this, literally, and they will squeeze into those tiny little gaps and do what they're going to do. Yeah, but they do take a long, long time to get going.
Yeah, it's not like that instant thing that everyone was portraying it was. You get 50 in like 2 weeks, you'll have 1,000.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go through dubia. My churros love dubias, so it's just like I don't even bother breeding them at this point. I just get loads of them, chuck them in a thing. If they breed, they breed. If not, they're getting fed. Like I love watching the red fangs take down adult male dubias. It is.
Don't ask me how. I've run my red runner colony down to near enough to zero. I've got to get some more of those because I've fed all them off. Can't wait for them to breed them up.
The new bloods.
Red runners are like the perfect food for like your arboreal true spiders because they're active, they run around, they climb. So it's like, and watching a huntsman go from the top of a cork bug jumping onto a roach is the funniest thing you'll ever see.
Too much humidity will kill
Hilarious.
dubias and will kill red runners off as well. You really want the top of that enclosure to be like a set pair of tights, that type of netting across the whole lot, as opposed to a solid lid with holes in.
One feeder I use a lot nowadays is the lobster roaches. They're really good. Breed super quick. I know they stink and I know they can climb, but it's like
stink.
I have
stink. It smells like 30 old blokes have gone for a piss up a tree. It reeks.
That's true. They reek.
Absolutely.
I have to clean them like once a week, otherwise they stink. Just like it's horrible. But they produce hundreds of nymphs, and those nymphs are perfect size for my Peloctodus.
It only takes one female to get out, and your house is infested.
That's the toad are everywhere, man.
They
they do not survive in my room, and if they do escape, hey, they get eaten by all kinds of true spiders. I let it live in my room.
Yeah.
It's like I've even got a one of these. What's it called? They had the hermit orbs, Carl. You know when they got those in the phalanges.
Yeah.
She kept getting out of her net enclosure, so I just let her live above my wardrobe now. And every time I have like a loose moth or a black soldier fly, she just happily enjoys them up there.
No, I've always wanted to let something sort of live free, but because of the way I've designed this place, the only real space is letting it just go right in the middle or right above the sign. But it's
When she gets big, I'm going to free roam her.
what's that?
The clearest in the world. This is a Trichinophila fenestrata female.
But then,
The abdomen.
like the other YouTubers that have done the same thing, are you literally releasing an exotic animal into the UK if it's free roaming in your room?
My shed's 100% sealed from floor to
Hey,
ceiling.
it's
so
captive, like
with the
Ellie said.
intentions
Yeah,
of
it's
keeping
captive.
venomous
It's in
animals.
the room. It's captive raising. But yeah, those are great. I'm actually really enjoying keeping these orb weavers now, but it's just getting the males at the same time is just next to impossible. Unless you're going with the Madagascarensis, which have been bred in the hobby for a while now. Any other Nephila, you've got to be really lucky, or you get multiple females and hope they don't drop at the same time.
Got a feeling Jenny's.
Because those males, they'll mature out in a month. Like,
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
be little ticks, like in comparison to the females. So it's like, that's why this girl. I just have her just because I have her. I wanted to have an orb weaver, and they're cool. Yes, guys, I do enjoy some true spiders just as pets. Okay,
I got
They're not
do you know
overbreeding.
those large insect meshed with what you've got there, but about this big, about 3 foot tall.
Oh, the
yeah, that's what I keep my orb weaver in.
Oh, they're great. I love them, and the web is so strong as well.
Oh, massively so. Massively so.
It's-
I was really surprised. Really, really surprised.
Got 5 times
Yeah, it's
stronger
like
steel, isn't it? Under tension.
Like Superman has.
So sort of strength of
I mean,
steel.
some of the larger Nephila will eat small birds and bats in the wild because their webs are just that strong. They can handle the impact of a bat hitting that web
Without ripping.
when they're flying around for fruit
Yeah.
or insects and stuff like that. Excuse me. It's like, yeah, if you think about that, it's like, nature, you're scary.
Damn, nature, you're scary.
Damn. Yeah, it's like, you get centipedes that will climb up caves and swing, grab bats up the air. It's
Oh,
like,
I know.
oh.
That's incredible, isn't it? Absolutely incredible.
Steve, I think I'm going to be doing the
And
same in a
it's-
minute.
And it's so cool that you can keep them in captivity, though. The white legs. These eat bats in the wild. And
I think we'll give it a couple more minutes now. I'm going to have to say good night, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just realised the
dude.
time.
It's been a great time. I
It's
really
like 20
enjoyed
to
it.
12. Yeah, I just looked. I thought it was like about 10:30, 11:15,
Yeah.
maybe.
Scott, we had the same issue, me and Carl. Like, when we talked for the first time, we just couldn't stop.
We had the same issue last time
Great.
you were on live as well. It's just
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just like talking, man. Like, once you get me going, I don't shut up. I'm sorry.
It's like No Mouth Joe. Starts
it's
making
like, we
noises
need to get
after you
some,
get
like-
past 5 hours.
I just need to pick and lock and just lock my mouth after a bit.
so yeah, everybody in the chat, if you've been here since the start, thank you so much, and thanks for joining, commenting. New channel members, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure coming on again, man. I love doing these streams. They're great.
Yeah, thanks for having
Well,
me, mate.
I
Enjoyed it.
love hosting them. I really do, because like you get to speak to people from all over the place every Tuesday, and for me, it's bloody awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and it's like, with the shows, you only have so long to talk, and when
That's
you
the
do,
problem.
it's really short combos. So it's like, it's nice
That
to
is,
sit down.
or
for
like
long,
Steve, you miss them
detailed
completely, and you're
convo.
both at the same show. You know,
Yeah. It's like there was a few people I should have had a chat to, and they're like, "Oh, you were at the show?" I was like, "You were at the show?"
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's when
like,
somebody,
it's
when
nice
somebody
for these kind of
messages a
things
bit
to get
later on
together.
and they say, "I was gonna say hello, but you were busy." It's like, no, just come and say hello, no matter what I'm doing.
Like, dude, yeah, just look for the small Asian guy wandering around aimlessly at a show. Just tap him on the shoulder. It's probably me.
I had a lady come up to me. She didn't come up to me. We were literally just buying spiders. She just went, "Oh, hello." She said, "Been watching you for about 2 years." So I was like, "Oh, thank you very much."
Yeah. So I had some nice gentlemen. Me and my friend Ryan were just walking back into the main hall. He tapped me on the shoulder. I was like, "Oh, hey, Jeremy. Like, I've been watching your content. It's good to see you finally in person." I'm like, "Oh, wow. It's great to see you too." So sorry, I'm so out of it at the moment. I'm just, but it's good to talk to you. And we had a little chat about some inverts and stuff like that. And then, you know, chat to me, guys. I'm not intimidated. I'm 5'3" and I'm small, man. Like, just tap me and I'll
Jeremy's very huggable, and again, he is single, ladies. So if you're a spider geek and you want access to a massive true spider collection, inbox Jeremy's Wild World. Charlotte says, "Good night, everybody. First live I've checked out." Appreciate that, Charlotte. Thank you. Really enjoyed it. I checked out your ant video, Scott. Still not convinced. I've got another ant video. It's coming out, but I can't release it yet.
Watch this space.
You will see
there
why.
We go,
but
Scott. Watch this space.
The ant enclosure that Jeremy had earlier, it's the same one. That might, anybody that's got any doubts, it might make you think actually they can't actually get out. So that's pretty cool. And it's awesome. Even putting water into one of those things is just like brilliant. Just what an idea. You know, it is a really good thing. Ash Van Bro says, "I have a Brazilian wandering spider's funnel web spider." Okay.
Well,
great show. Can't wait
for anyone that owns Phoenicia, I'm very jealous of because I want them.
This Thursday video at 7 is, I'm going to bill it as the Bugnut mystery box unboxing because we bought a £50 mystery box from Bugnut at the show. Basically, because it's the first time he's ever done it. His prices are always cheap, so my expectations are through the roof. At the end of that, I'm also going to show you what we picked up. I did get some things dropped off. But I'm not going to include them as per se because I want to do some hours with those guys. But you'll be able to see those. I will tell you, obviously, the hermit crabs I've told you about. But they're pretty cool. They are pretty cool. Something else we picked up was predatory snails.
Nice.
I kept messaging Clayton. I forgot to pick you some up, Scott. Sorry, that's what he said. And he did. He forgot to get them from Germany. But Bugs UK had them at a £5 each. So I was like, I think I took 6. And they were like, yeah, literally garden snails. You can feed them on. I'm like, I don't know if I could pick the snails out of the garden and then watch them get munched. So I might try getting my hands on some just some feeder snails because
I'll reach out to people who have like excess baby African land snails. They'll eat those. So
well, the Aki apparently can eat snails as well. So it'd be interesting to see him munching some because if it eats the shell as well, it's going to be pretty munchy.
Good calcium source as well. Yeah.
Charlotte says she got from Bug. Oh yes, I remember who Charlotte is now. She said excited to see what you got in the Bugnut box. Mine was interesting, not exactly beginner friendly. Hermit crabs are pretty cool.
I was the complete opposite, Charlotte. Mine was super beginner friendly.
But if it's old world and it's a sling, then you know don't be worried. It's not going to rip your face off until another 5 or 10 years time. And as that spider gets bigger, you'll learn with it. So as it gets bigger and gets a little bit quicker or moves in a different way, you'll be observing it or watching it, and you'll get to know that spider with experience anyway. So the experience that you want to have in an old world, you know, before you start getting old worlds, you've got it because you've got the sling as they get. You know what I mean?
Same thing with the true spiders as well.
I'll be going around in circles talking in a minute. It's getting late. Hermit crabs are pretty cool. They have 12. They're so neat to watch, especially if you have them set up right. Do you know what? I bought 2. Right, bought 2 of these purple ones. They're 8-9 years old. They last about 30 years. And I've come back home, looked on the website. And so I bought them from Bugs UK. Looked on the website, and they're really social animals. So they want to be kept in at least groups of 3. So I'm like, oh, fuck. And the wife is just like, they're amazing. She's like, groups of 3. She says you could buy another.
Hermits can be found in colonies of thousands on the beaches.
Yeah,
so
that's what she was saying. She says she wants another 4, 5, or 6, and then keep them together. So she's like, "Oh, when do we get paid again? Have we got enough?" And she's working it all out. And she's like, "I think we might be able to." And I'm like, "Okay, fair enough." But all I've heard them all night is literally like on the glass.
They have. Oh, Scott, you know what you should do with those? Get them a hamster wheel. Get them a hamster wheel. They will go inside and they will constantly walk. Hermit crabs in the wild will walk for miles. And I've seen videos, and it has been done by hermit crab. Like someone in America, they did a hermit crab. They breed hermit crabs, and they have wheels in their enclosure, and you'll just see them crawling on the wheel for hours, just watching them. Do it, please, and make a video on it. I need to see it.
Mini treadmills.
Yeah, they literally
Jackson's arachnids
agree with
you.
Love it.
Please, we need to see it in the UK.
I'm looking at the care requirements for them as well, which is dead simple. But what they feed on. Easy. I mean, I was thinking, okay, I've got some tortoise food. That's got some turtle food. Some turtle food. Sorry, that's got some prawns in there. So I thought, well, I can have the prawns out of there. I'll just dip it in a bit of calcium. Job done. And I've got some bloodworm, some dry bloodworm. I thought they might have that. So that bit of that's gone in. But then it's like a source of calcium needed, fish sticks, and the other 2 things, sweet corn and sweet potato. I was like, fuck off. If somebody had come up to me and said, oh yeah, hermit crabs can eat sweet corn, I would literally gone, you're taking a piss. But it's on Bugs UK website. There it is. They will eat sweet corn and sweet potato. It's like, how do you find that out?
They would get food from a wrapper given the opportunity. Like those things they're like the garbage cans of the internet hobby. They eat everything. Anything nutritional, they'll stick in their mouth. They'll try to eat it. They don't like it.
I'm literally going to try it. I'm going to try like putting 2 dead red runners in there and seeing if they munch their way through them. Because theoretically, anything that hits the floor and it's dead, they should be. Oh yeah, we'll have a bit of this. Munching. What it didn't say was they like 70 to 80% humidity, but they didn't say if it was marine, freshwater, or brackish. So I'm bit dubious. I've put dechlorinated water in the water dish, but yeah, I've got to try and get the actual species and all the rest of it. We can probably do that this evening, actually.
A little bit of salt water, a little bit of salt in the water. It doesn't have to be fully marine, but brackish is okay, just as long as they get some salt in them. Yeah. So a little bit of aquarium sea salt in there, just so they can soak their full body in it.
It actually can be normal.
They live
salt.
on land mostly.
It can actually be normal salt. The difference between aquarium salt and normal salt is when the water evaporates with normal salt, the salt evaporates as well as. With aquarium salt, the aquarium salt doesn't actually evaporate with the water. That's when, because if you've got a marine fish tank, and if you lose 3 litres of water in one day through evaporation, you just put 3 litres of RO water only back in, no salt. So when you do a water change, so the aquarium salt doesn't evaporate when your water evaporates. But if you've got a water dish, I'm just going to use normal table salt, mix it, just a tiny, tiny amount.
Yeah, it'd be perfect for them, just as long as they can soak the whole body in, and they're primarily living on land anyways, so
Nameless Pet says not a beginner pet. Yeah. I'm pretty good at getting not a beginner pets in general.
Keeps things a little.
I mean, people wouldn't recommend Saleh as like a second true spider, but the second true spider I ever got was the Saleh from you, dude.
Oh yeah, Yeah, when I bred them.
Yeah. Remember
Yeah.
when you bred them? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my second true, apart from the jumping spider. And I raised that little one from a 0.5 centimeter sling all the way to a mature male.
Did they give you one or did they give you a couple?
Gave me a couple, but some of them mismolted, unfortunately. But the one, they got to a mature male, so I was really happy with that.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I didn't get to breed him, unfortunately, but he got to live out his days with me, and I've got
that was a while ago.
4 of them right now, four Salle's, and one
That
male,
was a while
3
ago.
females.
That was just before I bred Taylor Swift's Damon Medius.
Yeah. I think it was late 2020, early 21.
Yeah. The Damon Medius, I just do not understand
19.
why there is not tons of babies in the hobby. Because you literally set the court bark up like this, so it's almost touching, and you put male and female in there, leave them for, it took me about a year, you leave them together for a year, and then you'll see she'll come on the glass one day, and the underside of her will just be full of eggs, and then a couple of weeks later, they'll all be over her back, and then boom, you've got tons.
So cool. I've got a great photo of the medius female with babies on the back. I've got all the spaghetti.
Picture somewhere on my Facebook. I sometimes go and find it of the actual female with the eggs in her stomach, and it's just like I get excited speaking about it. I might have to do them again. Just get the male and female, leave them together for a year, and just. But the problem is you can't go near them. You have to just leave them the fuck alone. Literally,
leave them be.
Yeah, find somewhere in the house where they're not going to get no vibrations or nothing, and just leave them to be.
Same thing with breeding trues. It's just really hands off. Just let them do their own thing.
Jackson, is that
most species of trues?
Is that the hermits you're talking about? Because they live. I've put them in an enclosure. They've got this much substrate at the front with a bit of sand, but at the back they've got like this much. And then I've put a piece of bogwood that holds up the soil in front, so they can make a tunnel in that way, or they can go in down from the top. And then there's a shitload of all the moss that they come in. I'd use the same moss, basically covered majority of the area to try and keep that humidity down in the soil. Yeah, message me, Jackson. I'd be interested to see your setup, just so I can copy it basically and pretend I did it all by myself.
Credit? No, it was on me.
Well, I always give credit. If somebody else me, I will say,
of
because
course, yeah.
If you don't, you just bullshit and people see it.
Problem is, it's when you've spoken to so many people, you can't remember where the information's come from. So I learned that, but from someone.
Where did I hear that again?
They had 2 legs. They were standing upright down there. Facial hair.
It's like I'm always asking for advice and tips. Like, Carl's been walking me through the Midoriana egg sac, so I transferred her into a sling-proof tub, and once she drops the slings, I'll take her out, raise the slings all together. So if I had an Alaskan, I would have just, left the female in her display enclosure, and the slings would have crawled out, and she would have eaten slings and stuff like that. So, learning things from everyone.
Thank you, Osman.
Credit given where it's due, of course. Always.
Scott says Scott does give credit, so I can confirm that. I think it's important. It also keeps those relationships, because, like, if you ask somebody for advice and they give it you, and then you pretend it's your own on a video, that person's going to go, "What the fuck?" Do you know what I mean?
What the hell, man? Like,
yeah, I'd rather just go, "Yeah, I asked this person and they helped me no end." Bump.
Yeah.
When I had the Beatles off Bethany, I asked Phil, because Phil was telling me all about it, and I said, "Mate, the amount of information that you've given me, I think if you could put it into a video, I will pause my video and start your part." Do you know what I mean? And that's what we did, because I had a little bit of knowledge, but not Phil's level. So that's what happened, basically.
Yeah, like with the David Bowies, I cannot take credit for putting them in the butterfly enclosure. I would have just cupped him up and popped him in like you would do with a tarantula. But I got that from Myro, from the Spider Cafe. If you haven't checked out his channel, definitely check him out for truths, because he does some cracking macro photography, and he's bred a few species. And what he did was butterfly enclosure, pop the two in together and let them find each other at night time. And with that, he's produced captive bred David Bowies. I did the same. Stupidly sold too many. I should have kept some, but hey, we live and we learn.
People always say to me, you know, some of your old worlds, how'd you video them for so long? When I did when I did the Gold Fang and the Black Fang rehousings, a lot of people were like, how did you manage to do that? And it was like, well, easy. The same enclosure that I used for the Orb Weaver, for the stick insect enclosure, just put one in there. It'll go up the side. You still have this wall in case it wants to do a runner, but you can unzip it. It's got 2 zips, so you can get it down to like this, and you can put your 2 hands in, see it, film it, pull them back out, close it up, job done.
Yeah, just the easiest way. Just, in case anything bolts. That's how like rehousing and stuff as well. Always use a butterfly net enclosure, whether it's a sling or an adult female, just in case they bolt out. Just makes your life so much easier.
Jackson, will the hermit crabs eat trout pellets?
Oh, and Carl, these rehousing tubes I got from the tarantula room, they are so good for rehousing Cetenidae. Stick it in front of the Peloctonus, she runs up, easy peasy.
If I bought a spider and I'm putting it in a forever home, I put it in like that. I take the lid off and leave it, and I let the spider come out all by itself.
Yeah,
I never. My pet hate is the paintbrushes where everybody's doing this to try and get them out.
Forcing it out. It's like no wonder they're pissed off.
There's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer to put that in the enclosure, take the lid off, take the tissue off with a pair of tweezers, shut the door, and let it do its thing. That way, that fear of it running out is gone. If it's your first old world, OBT or something, just put the pot that it came in into the new enclosure, take the lid off, shut the door, wait for it to do its thing. 9 times out of 10, it's all webbed up, and then you can pull it out. But if you look, a lot of the sellers will actually sell especially at the shows, will get the tiny little vials, put them in a bigger pot, crack them open, and then leave it. And that's how you can buy it in the pot with the old little thing in there.
Portsmouth does that a lot, and I really like that. Not just selling them in a little sling pot. They actually have something that they can live in as soon as you get it. Just add a little dish or something like that.
Bugnut have to. Their mystery boxes, they have to, because it's part of their insurance.
Yeah. And I can safely say that the enclosures they came in, apart from one adult, will obviously need a bigger enclosure, but the rest of them, they can stay in the tubs for a little while. Now, the question is for Charlotte: did you get that elusive rare scorpion in the mystery box? Because I didn't. I got New Worlds.
Oh, I didn't either. I've got Jaden bought £150 one, so you know where it's going to be.
I bet you he's got one. I'm so jealous. He put Pandinus cavimanus scorpions inside the mystery boxes, and I'm kicking myself in the butt for not bumping up the price and buying that 150 now.
I couldn't have afforded it. I didn't. I was like,
But to be fair, if I bought the mystery box, I probably wouldn't have not bought the adult emperor pair. So you lose some, you win some.
Yeah. We should all pulled in and gone, do you know what, my YouTuber? Which one's got the scorpion in?
Apparently, Tim said, "I'll take them all. I'll buy them from you now." But he's like, "Mate, I'm not going to open the mystery boxes and take them out."
Somebody asked me that literally on a video as well. They were like, do you get extra stuff in the mystery box because you're a YouTuber? And I'm like, no. Well, no, because if I'm at a show, I'll just go, I'll have that one, please. I don't even tell the person that I'm doing it. Just go, that one, please. And I've had it where the seller's gone, and I've gone, yeah, thanks, there you go, see you later. And if I order from the spider shop, it's not normally in my name. I normally do it in the wife's. Because I think if you're doing a YouTube video, if whoever's selling you the thing knows you're doing a YouTube video, they might change it. They could add more packing peanuts in or something. I just think, no, you got to get it. It's got to be like as a normal person. So,
yeah, I mean, like Lee knows I do YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah, he lets me know when imports come in, but I don't get anything for free. I don't get anything typically for a discounted price. It's always just
to get the typical message. I know you like weird shit.
Yeah. You get the same one, Carl. It's like, you like your weird shit. I've got these in. You want them?
I'm a pain in the arse though, because I'm so specific about what I want. This is my issue.
Well, actually, I like weird
we got
shit,
loads
but
of
I want it
today
from
in.
this
I've got them
family.
all.
It's like,
What's
well, would
new?
you want these? Nah, they're not the ones I'm looking
Um,
for. Okay, what about these?
Yeah.
Oh, I have them.
I'm gonna have to end the live stream. Unfortunately, it is midnight. Please hit up 8-Legged Hunters Facebook group.
Fantastic stream, man.
With a join. Please check out Jeremy's Wild World on Facebook and on YouTube. Go check him out at the shows. If none of you, if any of you is not hooked up to Scott's Inverts Army on Facebook, come pop us out. We're quite a chill group. Yeah, do all that and we'll be good to go. If you are part of the Facebook group, I'll also get Cole and Jeremy to whack their links up on the group as well, so you can transfer over if you like, or share it about, however you want to call it.
Working together, mate. Working together.
Yeah, man. Community thing, you know, it's
doing.
all what we're here for.
Yeah.
All what we're here for.
We've all got to strive as a community together and stay together. I think COVID proved that. But what comes alongside that is we protect each other at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So you know if somebody's dodgy, everybody knows. If there's an issue somewhere, everybody knows. It's one of them. It's pretty cool. It's pretty chilled, I think. But then the support is just mental. I mean, Steve W picking me up and Leah dropping me back. I was just like, wow. Leah dropping me back and Terry, that was just insane. Absolutely insane. Thank you guys so much. Really, you got a free smile. Thank you. Great live night. Yeah, take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
My unusual stuff is happening next week, as in I haven't planned anything like I normally don't. So I don't know what's going on Tuesday and next week, but I'll work it out over the weekend like I normally do. This Thursday is that £50 box from Bugnut and what I bought from the Sea show. But yeah, I'm just going to advertise it as a Bugnut unboxing. Otherwise, it's just you haven't got enough words for me to write everything down. Do you know what I mean? As a title, that makes sense.
A very long title.
So yeah, it's to be honest, it's more
box from Bugnut and what I got at the Southern Eastern Arachid Show 2023.
Yeah, exactly. if you do unboxing video, that's more searchable than I got this from Bugnut. I went to this shop and that shop, and I got this shop and that shop. It's all in this video. Night, Tim. Night, Mark. Proper fake beard, Jackie. It's not fake. I'll give people
facial hair, man.
You can come swing off it at the shows. Do you know what I mean? It's not fake. It's just a bit dodgy. That's all.
It's me and Jeremy. Like, yeah, I give it a scratch. I might shave once every month, but that's about as far as it goes. I kind of need the fake
beard, man. I try, but I just get stubble.
I wasn't
like a homeless Amish person.
I wasn't fully shaven until I was 33.
Yeah.
Wow.
But if you look back through the videos, it's such a pain because I grew it a little bit, then shaved it, then grew it back and then shaved it. And then I had that dodgy little piece that come round here and up there. So I let that grow. I'm going to let this bit grow. And then this bit. And the mohawk, still got the mohawk. I just slicked it back for tonight. When I went and had my hair cut, I was going to shave it all off. And my hairdresser said no. I literally went, I want it all shaved off. I want to get rid of the mohawk. And the hairdresser literally just went, combed it to one side, shaved that bit, and then shaved the other bit. He went, "You're not Scott without it." In his Jamaican accent, I can't do. I was like, and the Jamaican geezer that does it, Vince, he's like twice my size and built like a brick shithouse. So I weren't going to argue with him. Like,
okay, whatever you say.
But yeah, indeed, Mark, we're off again. Right, thank you guys for watching. Scott's Inverts Army on Facebook, 8-Legged Hunters on Facebook, Jeremy's Wild World YouTube and Facebook. Hook those all up with joins, likes, subscribes, follows, and all the rest of it. We shall see you Thursday. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you
guys.
again.
Ciao.
Bye.